morning, everybody. How are you? Happy Monday to everybody. Wherever you are, however you may be listening, thanks for making us part of your day. It's another fucking scorcher in Mesa, Arizona today. I'm just seeing an extreme heat warning. We've just been hovering between 113 and 118 degrees, so we're dying. Sorry, I missed you guys on Friday. If you want any updates on that, I don't want to talk about it right now, but it is in the Discord. If you're not a member of the Discord, sorry. You can go join the Discord. You can see the message there. So dark, I'm a floating head. Thank you. Thank you. I got a black shirt on, black background, black chair. I've been called a floating head before. Hope you all found some joy this weekend at Raised Hell, whatever your vibe was. Thanks. Oh, that was a guess on the hat. Good morning, Jennifer.
So you're like the Prince of Darkness today, I guess. I don't know.
Who is the prince? Is the Prince of Darkness Voldemort? Who's the Prince of, or Satan?
I think that was Ozzy Osbourne, but
he was a prince. I had no idea.
I mean, I don't know if he's been knighted or anything. So
I didn't know that was his nick. Again, was not allowed to listen to Ozzy Osbourne. I do know there was something about he like bit the head off a pigeon or something, right?
That I thought. I could be wrong, but I don't know if that's actually true. But
is that true? Does anybody know? A bat. How the fuck did he get a bat?
I don't know.
Did a bat fly in? Did he catch a bat? Yeah, it was on stage, right? Oh, he thought it was fake?
Oh, that's right. I think I did hear that before.
Someone threw it on stage. He picked it up. Oh, some people are saying it's a rubber bat. I'm actually.
I don't know. Either way,
70s weren't wild.
Either way, it's gross.
I wasn't around in the 70s. My bad.
No, I wasn't either. So
you got engaged this weekend. Everybody, tell Jen congratulations. What's that?
I swear, you're the reason why we can't have nice things. Just make shit up. So
it wasn't a nice engagement.
We've been over this. I don't play the till death. I don't want to play the till death do us part game. So we've played this. So.
Thank you guys for telling Jen congratulations. It's good. She doesn't hear that enough, and it's good to offer positive reinforcement.
Well, I mean, so yes, I'm still talking to Duke.
Thank God. You don't want to be engaged and not be dating. You want to do both of them at the same time, ideally.
We're not doing either of those things, but yeah.
You're not dating or being engaged?
I'm not engaged. I have noted there's just that. So
okay.
But he did. Fun fact: he did watch more of the show, so he heard you say "fuck you" than "just kidding, fuck you." So he thought that was funny.
Sorry, Duke. That's my bad.
Yeah. So yeah, he's gone back and listened to the show. He thinks it's funny to watch the comments sometimes in the beginning. He watched more of the show. So, but yeah.
Sarah says, "Don't let your fiance keep you from finding the love of your life." It's good advice. That's really good advice.
I mean,
at the rate this relationship is moving, Jen's going to be married in 2025.
No, definitely not.
Do you call him Duke? Did we make that happen?
I mean, he knows the nickname that you've given him, so
that wasn't even close. What is this, a congressional hearing? What kind of answer was that?
What?
Do you call him Duke?
I don't call him that. No, okay. I don't call him that.
You think you will at some point?
Maybe in like sarcasm or something, but
what could we do to get you to call him Duke or the Duke?
I mean, I don't know if I'm not I wouldn't have it to be funny.
Daddy Duke, something like that.
You don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. Yeah, I immediately regretted that right when I said it.
You don't want to do that. That will just make things that'll make your tummy hurt. You don't want to do that. So
could you put him in your phone as the Duke? El Duque?
I possibly could. I
right.
possibly could, but I guess.
Is he coming to our next members only event?
I don't. It's not planned.
I don't want to be a
I don't.
stickler, but technically he's not a paying member. So Duke, if you're listening, you can become a paid subscriber either on TikTok, Twitch, or YouTube. You can just go right on there. And Duke, if you have Amazon Prime, you can actually just go onto Twitch and you can sign up using your Amazon Prime, and it'll give us a membership. You don't even have to pay for it. But we didn't discuss that. Normally, though, admittance to those events requires a paid membership. So go ahead and get that sub, Duke.
That or you got an in with.
I don't know. I don't think we ever
Someone other-
discussed whether or not we can have like guests. I don't that weren't members.
Right.
Maybe we should talk about that.
All right, we can put that on our weekly meeting about the show. So
Okay, that sounds good to me.
we'll talk about it then.
Did I see the video of Jake Lang getting called out for being a P3DO? I did not. I didn't know that. We pull it up. Do you know what they're talking about?
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it.
Well, you want to do your announcements while I pull it up?
Sure, why not? Okay. Welcome everybody. It's Monday. Jay's on his usual nonsense this morning after missing Friday. So glad you're here. Wherever you're watching, like Jay mentioned, you should become a paid subscriber or member so you can join us for members only events. We do those every other Wednesday. So it's not this Wednesday, but the upcoming Wednesday.
What if we changed what if we changed our lowest level membership to the Duke? Can we call that the Duke?
We can we could think of, I don't know.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I think YouTube has been sending some notifications about some adjustments to the memberships, so maybe we'll see.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'll put it on my list.
Thanks.
So how much medication are we on today?
None. I need to be, honestly. It's been the week. It was literally the worst weekend of my entire life. I told Jen, and I'll tell you guys, this by the end of today's show, I'm probably gonna say I am so glad that we did the show today. But I can tell you right now, I did not. The last thing I wanted to do was put my face on the fucking internet this morning. But here we are for you, for all of you, and we're gonna make a good day out of it. But no, I should have anything close by. Do your announcements. I'll look and see what I can find. All right.
All right. I started something. So like I mentioned,
actually do it. I'll be right back.
All right, go. Jeez. Jay is like herding cats, I swear. So yeah, like I said, if you're a paid member, subscriber, wherever you're watching, you can join us for members only events that we do every other Wednesday. So it's not this week, but next Wednesday we'll have another one, watch movies or other things together. If you guys disagree with our TP, you'd like to come up and have a conversation, you can do that by sending me a message on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo, so Jen with 2 N's, Deb with 2 B's, the number 1. We also have that gift goal that we need to hit each day to keep the lights on. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards knocking out that gift goal. We prefer the pay links over Super Chats, but anything is appreciated. So if we can knock that gift goal sooner rather than later, that would be cool. And I don't know, did I say check out the link tree in the bio for our most social media platforms? We got merch, she's on Cameo. We uploaded that episodes to Spotify. And so yeah, I got this joke from Kandarian. Elmer Fudd and Daffy Duck break into a distillery. Daffy, not that says. That's supposed to be Daffy. Daffy asks Elmer, "Is this whiskey?" Elmer says, "Yes, but not as whiskey as robbing a bank."
I was early on that one. I like that one a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Keith, thanks. Says 16 months. Jeff Bezos has paid for Keith's membership for 16 months. Thank you. Keith says, yo, yo, yo. All right, I did find the video of Jake Lang. I guess I don't know what this was.
What's the age of consent?
We're going to talk. I don't know. There might be some pushback today, but we are going to show some clips from the sit-down conversation between Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden. It seems to be like this is where we're going. Historically speaking, I have not been a big fan of platforming Nazis and white supremacists, but if they are going to be platformed, it needs to be in this way. So this was from the Unfuck America tour. Not a huge fan of Unfuck America, Not a huge fan of Z, not a huge fan of some of the people that are there, but I do have some friends that are part of the Unfuck America tour who I have a lot of respect for, so I don't want to wholesale say fuck everybody over there, but some of them can slightly get fucked. All right, so this is apparently Jake Lang being called out for being talking to an underage girl.
Sent in Arizona.
I don't know.
It's 18.
Okay.
Yeah, the girl you fucking was 15, bro.
No, that's a Groiper hoax.
You want me to show you
man.
the pictures or not?
It's all Groiper hoax.
It's all Groiper
bullshit.
hoax? Really?
Yes.
Really?
100%.
These look pretty real, bro.
No, Nick
You wanna
Fuentes
see-
is little fucking
You coming to my
Groiper's
next
attack.
protest in Texas? I can if you want
Not
me to.
even-
Guess what?
That's not great.
Not
Your
even
number.
true.
Oh, really? Not true?
Yes, not
Oh,
true.
You're going to say it's unequivocally false?
Yes, it is false.
Really?
Yes, it's a Groiper hoax.
Oh, no,
Completely.
I know the person wasn't 15. So are you saying that you weren't?
This is bullshit. This is a
these are
Groiper hoax.
Do we have Groipers in here? You can't control Nick's momentum. Cool.
This is Groiper fiction.
So these are fraudulent?
Yes, it's fraudulent.
Okay, what's your
Yes.
evidence for that?
These are fucking.
I mean, these are text messages. That's you, right?
That's
Jake,
not
right?
mine.
Oh, that's not
no,
your
that's
Instagram?
not, I did not send any of those. This
really?
is bullshit Groiper phishing hoax.
Oh, they fake those
Yes.
too or what?
Yes.
Oh, whoa. Wait a minute. Is what?
Did not send any of those. This
really?
is bullshit Groiper phishing hoax.
Oh, they fake.
A phishing hoax is when they fish for answers from somebody. So did he just accidentally confirm that it was him? If it's a phishing hoax, is he? I'm guessing what he's saying is somebody can tell me, like, was this a Groiper setting him up? Like it wasn't actually a 15-year-old girl, but they were pretending to be a 15-year-old girl? Does anybody know the full story behind this? This is David Mauricio. I don't know David Mauricio.
Those
Yes.
too or what?
Yes,
Oh.
this is a
A fishing hoax is the nuclear dolphins. That's a good point. I forgot about that.
bullshit hoax.
Oh, so every attack
Democrats
on
tried
you is fake?
No, there's plenty of legitimate attacks on me, like the bombs
Like
being
when
thrown
you-
at me, like my head being split open in Minneapolis. Those are legitimate attacks.
these look
But
Those aren't attacks on you. There's plenty of credible stuff you could say about me, like I'm a victim. Yeah, all right.
these
Real
are
to me.
character attacks.
When do you turn 16?
This bullshit.
What state
Everybody
do you
knows
live
that.
in?
It's been freaking Alex
Arizona.
Rosen, the number one predator
just moved
hunter
here.
in the country, could prove that it was false, okay?
Really?
Alex Rosen came out of my defense, so don't start with this bullshit.
Alex
Groiper
Rosen,
hoax.
wasn't he the fucking loser at the?
My team who does my DMs from out of the country suspected I was being fished. I confirmed it by asking their age and telling them. Oh yeah. So that is what happened.
What's that guy's
Alex,
name?
yes, Chud the Builder.
Yeah,
We
I'm not
stand
gonna listen to that
together.
fucking
We
dumbass,
stand
fat fucking
together,
loser
okay?
racist, bro.
No, he's not
So,
a racist. He's
I
a
just
man
turned
that stands up
30,
for
honey.
children.
Chud the Builder's not a racist. All right.
Why you up? Well, maybe you should do
stands
an
up-
investigation into you.
No, he did,
So really
and
quick,
I came out
why you up
completely
so late,
clean.
young lady?
All right. That's what this was, a phishing scam. So you decided to hit him with the "you up." I don't know what time that message was. This is at 1:12 a.m. Part of the phishing scam requires you to DM a suspected 15-year-old girl at 1 a.m.
This is
Nice
bullshit.
and IDK. I'd be a night owl. I might be too young for you, Lowell. You said how old are you, baby?
I didn't send
Unless
any of
you're
these
18,
messages.
I don't
This
care.
is ridiculous.
Ooh, those messages are 2 different days.
I'm 15, Lowell. Then you said when do you turn 16? You
I
just wanna
didn't
fuck a
send
little girl.
any of these
So in reality,
messages.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's generally the case. Have you guys seen this case of let me get the name here. I remember the first name. I'm just gonna. I don't feel super great talking about this. You'll see why. Let's see. There's a case in Idaho. Let's see if I can find it. Oh shit! The hell was that sound? This guy that was like he was abusing his cousin. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? I don't remember this person's name. Somebody sent it to me this morning, actually. Let me look. Mom sent it to me. Where is it? Anybody in there have the name of it? I swear she sent it to. Oh, maybe she sent it on Instagram. Manny? Not Manny. Okay, Canon Dolly or Doll? Candon. That is such a. I mean, these are Mormons for sure. Camden Doll. There we go. Oh, he's a baseball player? Okay, so it's this dude. He was, I did remember this story. BYU baseball player sentenced to 8 years probation after spending for sexually assaulting a 7-year-old for 5 years. So 7 to 12. Allegedly, there was another one. And then now he just got married. Like somebody just married this person. And not to give you too much, but I don't even know if I should say this. Let's see. Let's see if I can find his wife. BYU gonna BYU. Yeah, that's for damn sure. It's not gonna show. Maybe. Anyways, he's now married, which is a crazy thing to happen. Like, how could you not know that your husband was convicted of these things? And his wife just happens to have the same last name as my birth father and is from the same hometown as my birth father. So the same girl he assaulted married him, right? No, I don't think so. No, he's not in jail. He got 8 years probation. He didn't even go to jail. There was no jail sentence there. I don't know the detail. I don't remember the details of that story, but for some reason he was able to avoid jail time, which is insane. Yeah, look it up. Jeremy said, just curious, Jay, how many of your comments and rants are scripted versus ad-libbed? Either way, love the show. Jen responded with, you think he's that organized to write scripts for the rants, then follow them? I'll just show you. None of my rants are scripted. All of them are ad-libbed, generally in the moment. And generally it's because of something is said in the chat. I can just show you. This is what my outline looks like every day. There's a link. It's usually a Twitter link. Usually what is listed is exactly what somebody tweeted. And it's just a link. So yeah, nothing. That's the whole show for today. Just one-ish pages of a Google document. Good question. Thank you. I just fly off the rails. Like 90% of the show. Obviously, what we're covering right now it wasn't scripted either. Yeah, it's just stream of conscious. Did the family press charges? I don't know that whole story. I don't remember. There's two BYU athletes. One of them, Parker Kingston, got charged for rape, and those charges were just dropped. And then this one as well. And that one, I think there was a plea there, but 8 years probation's insane. I gotta tell you, man, fuck our justice system, especially when it comes to protecting kids and protecting predators. fuck them. Ty said for Jesse Mack Butler got no jail time. Who's Jesse Mack Butler? Jesse, you guys know who that is? Oh, that was the Oklahoma dude. Yeah. That was like multiple girls, right? That's right. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is going on? Stillwater, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. You're gonna make me. We're gonna have an early rant. All right. Somebody just tell me what the goddamn fuck this is. This is something that Donald Trump posted on his social media, on True Social. I don't know what this is. Somebody want to explain this to me? Do we have MAGA here yet? Don't worry, guys. You'll have stuff to come. I know that you don't know these particular sex abusers, so it's hard to defend them. But we'll talk about the Tates and Donald Trump. So you'll have plenty of opportunities, MAGA, while you're here to protect sex offenders. Don't think we forgot about you. But he posted this video. Yeah, like they're just flat out ripping off Rick and Morty. I don't know who that is. I think it's. Are you saying is this Mom Donnie? It does kind of look like it. I think that's JD Vance. Or is Mom Donnie? Who's the dragon? Oh damn! Is that Marjorie Taylor Greene? Is this Marge? I think that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. She made it in the video. Oh, maybe that's what they're doing, copying the Lego Iran videos. Yeah. It's not just that. Like, Trump had an absolute meltdown this weekend. I was going to have this later, but let me just show you. This is the last like 6 hours of his social media feed. Jim Stewartson post this. I'm going to turn off the music. Look, what is this? Fuck is this? It's just all AI slop. Also, Dream Singing. This is the ads that you're seeing on True Social. Oh, that's devastating. What was the other ad? It is all singles? Or Jim Stewartson's looking for that? I don't know. There's cookies. Jim, you might not want to have posted this, but I don't know what this is. This is what Trump's posting. He's everybody's crazy uncle. Well, is Trump doing well in office? Look at this ad. This ad is posted by Trump lovers. That's who paid for this ad. Trump lovers. This is a sponsored truth from Patriot Addict. Somebody paid money and said, "How's Trump doing? Yes, or is Trump doing well in office? Yes or no?" Somebody paid for that. They pay for that so they can print that out and be like, "Look, Trump, they all say you're doing great." The cheesecake is the prize. Nadler and Christie. All right. Well, listen. If you're going to fat shame people, you probably shouldn't fat shame people while looking like Donald Trump. That's all I'm saying. Don't do that in general. If you are going to do that, don't look like Donald Trump. What's this, Kimmy Fallon Colbert? What the president's doing? What is this? What is he doing? Give the enemy nightmares. Rosie O'Donnell makes the cut. What the fuck is this? Cosmic Commander? Leadership, destiny beyond. Can somebody tell me if this is real? Can somebody look this up? I know that normally we'd be like, this is just AI slop, but like this could be real. What is it? Who does it say is the studio? Stellar Pictures, Future Frontier, Galactic Visions, Cosmic. Okay, it's probably not real. Trump, Madison Starr, Xander Yell. I don't know any of those people. Trump 2028. Carg Island bombing. What is going on with your president, guys? Y'all dumb. He literally solved the border crisis overnight. Trump fucked up with the with the Iran war, but he's doing good. He's not doing a good job in other ways. And thank you for your blatant anti-Semitism at the end there. I'm sorry that you have to get kicked out of here for being an anti-Semite, because we're going to talk about Nick Fuentes in a little bit, and I know you would you'd enjoy that because you got to use something to jerk off. So can somebody get rid of whoever that was that said that? We don't do anti-Semitism here. Thank you. It's our oil tanker now. Oh, he posted that a lot. Oh, a lot. How many times did he post that shit? Was he getting an error? Was he getting the failed to post error? This is this is just the man who saved America. Posted his own. Oh, Jesus Christ. What is this? That's Donald Trump taking a shit behind a curtain. Dude posts more than my alcoholic, terminally divorced MAGA uncle. Guardian angels of the world. Yeah, thank you. Guardian angels notoriously bomb innocent people. Guardian of the world. Panic in DC. What is that? The fuck is this? What is panic in DC? What does that even mean? Now we got switch without the surprise bills. Some sort of pill there. Oh, skinny pill. This is for losing weight. These ads on True Social are incredible. If I'm anti-Semitic, or if Nick's anti-Semitic, so are you. Both share the exact same views on Israel. Yeah, we both share the exact same view on Israel when it comes to committing a genocide. What we don't share is Nick's views that it's because they are Jewish that they do it. That's the difference. There is like Nick Fuentes and I share a lot of the same opinions. We differ on whether or not somebody's, and Nick does the same thing with crime and black people. There is a difference between me and Nick Fuentes. You can come to the same conclusion and still have racist or anti-Semitic views. The anti-Semite label isn't working more. I'm not trying to make it work. I was just saying that the one person who said, I blame the Jews, that's anti-Semitic. And so we just don't allow anti-Semitism here. Any of the other criticism that you guys give towards Israel, saying they're an apartheid state, or that they're an ethno state, or that they're committing a genocide, or that they have undue influence on the American government, none of that is anti-Semitic. So I agree with you. I'm somebody who consistently gets called anti-Semitic every single day. I'm not calling anybody anti-Semitic for criticizing Israel, but when you say I blame the Jews, that's anti-Semitic. When you make comments lumping Jewish people in with Israel and saying that they're all the same and it's because they're Jewish that they're doing this, that's anti-Semitic. And I'm very careful to make sure we don't do that. Trump's America, cool. I don't know why this would be exciting. Trump's America, when you go to the beach, you can't hear shit. I don't even know what this one's about. Just somebody holding a flag? Cool. Trump's cabinet. What is this? Why did he retruth this? Just scolding all of them? Trump and JFK retruth that? This dude. Yes. He lost his fucking mind this weekend. Are we allowed to say all Trump supporters are stupid? Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah. You can say whatever you want. As long as we're not lumping people in together by their ethnicity and or some immutable characteristic. We are running a nursing home, not a government. Yeah, it feels an awful lot more like a nursing home. Okay, here's some news real quick out from ICE. I'm going to cover more ICE stuff later this week. I just don't think we're going to get to it today. But the man who was shot in Houston, Texas, and was, of course, ICE came out immediately and said, number one, he was a threat. Number two, he was here illegally. And number three, he had drugs. None of them are turning out to be true. We now have testing on the drugs that they found in the car. By the way, the family said that they weren't drugs. The family, when they saw it, were like, that's not drugs. Those are electrolytes because he works outside.
Major twist in the investigation into the fatal ICE shooting in Houston. Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, a 52-year-old Mexican immigrant, father of three, was shot and killed by an ICE agent on July 7th. The incident happened as Salgado Araujo was driving to work early in the morning. But tonight, the family is pushing back on an FBI search warrant. Now, that warrant had claimed illegal...
Trump is as useful as taste buds on an asshole. Jesus.
Illegal drugs could have been inside the van Lorenzo was driving. The warrant specifically read, the packaging and appearance of the controlled substance in the target vehicle is consistent with methamphetamine. Now,
Michael, look at the title of today's show. Why, I don't know why you're spamming that, but look at the title of today's show and ask yourself if you think I'm like pro-Democrat here.
According to the Harris County District Attorney, who is conducting an independent investigation, the preliminary test results are back and show that it was not drugs. Ruby Powers is out front now. She is the attorney for Lorenzo Salgado Araujo's brother, who is in ICE custody, was with him that day in his ICE custody. And I want to ask you about him because it's been almost 3 weeks and he's still in custody, Ruby. I just want to start off, though, with the fact that I know you've had a chance to speak with Lorenzo's family.
Not you, Swiss Michael, other Michael Schmidt.
What have they told you about this report and the results on this substance?
Well, it is very late breaking just this afternoon. I was speaking with Lorenzo's family, and they gave me the news that they had heard that it was not a narcotics, not illicit drugs, and we both said, well, we knew that already. So, but now it's official, and so now we're letting the world know, and there'll be official lab results available on Monday. But we had previously said,
Guys, but when you call Trump useless, you're playing, that's what they want you to do. They're playing 11D chess now. We got you to say he's useless. Checkmate, bitches.
that it was only crystallized salt used for electrolyte mix.
And
Oh, so it turns out they weren't lying. It's crystallized salt used for an electrolyte mix. So we killed another person for no reason.
when you said that, in fact, I know that Lorenzo's family had said that this is something that they had been making for a long time when they go to work jobs and sites in the summer because of the incredible heat, that they use it to sort of hydrate. And that the substance was a granulated salt used to make basically an electrolyte mix, right, to give you energy. Is that what the report shows?
Well, we know definitively it's negative for narcotics and controlled substance. I believe the result Monday,
Jennifer wants to remind us less than 100 days till midterms. Let's fucking go.
or the lab result will tell us what it actually was. But what matters is, that there, I think this was all used to discredit the Lorenzo and the witnesses, unfortunately, or to act as a red herring and distraction. So ultimately, it's not a narcotic or controlled substance.
It certainly did add confusion because they had initially said, oh, it was a case of a mistaken identity, but then they were saying, oh, there were drugs in the van. Now there's not drugs. By the way, it took a long time to get these results back.
That's true.
Is a little hard to understand. In that context, Lorenzo's brother, whom you represent, he was a...
Why would anybody see that and think it was an illegal substance? Because they just killed a man and now they need to justify it. Even if that was a controlled substance, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't change anything, but it would be what they use. And that's how politicized ICE is. ICE is out here like, oh, if we can say that there were drugs, then we can justify the shooting. Well, no, you can't, because you can't pull anybody over for drugs. There's nothing that ICE can do about drugs. That's not your role. But that's what every Republican would go with. They would go with the same thing that they always do. Oh, look at you guys defending a drug addict. You always are on the side of the drug addict. And we're just like, no, we just don't think people should be shot. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this person was a drug addict, which doesn't seem like there's any evidence they were. Wouldn't matter if those were drugs. All of this would still be unlawful. But that's what ICE is doing. ICE is trying to spin a narrative to justify murder.
Witness. He was there. So he was a witness to his brothers being killed. He had been contradicting ICE's version of events and whether the van was used to ram, which they have said, even though the van was not given to the DA for their investigation for a very long time. I don't even know when they actually got it. Do you know if or when Lorenzo's brother is going to be released from ICE custody, where he's been for almost 3 weeks?
I think no one knows the answer to that, but we are pursuing multiple...
Frank, stop speaking in generalities. Just address me. Tell me what I cried wolf for. You're here talking to me. I'm the only person with a microphone right now. I don't know. You keep talking about other people. I'm not part of any group. Just talk to me, Frank. Get your feelings in check today, Frank. Let's have a real discussion. I don't have a lot of patience today. Like, I'm really fucking annoyed with a lot of things. So I'm just going to ask you guys to address me today. Stop assuming that I'm a liberal. Stop assuming I'm a Democrat or a progressive or a democratic socialist. Just talk to me today, would you? Thank you.
Avenues between federal lawsuit for habeas, as well as pursuing an immigration court, a victim of a crime and witness visa with U visa and a parole. So we're hoping that one of all of these many approaches will work. But ultimately...
I'm part of Antifa. I run Antifa.
From today's congressional hearing, the DA, Shantir, said that my client was one of the most material witnesses. And I still question to this day why, if the most material witness in this shooting is still detained in immigration 2.5 weeks after this unfortunate event.
All right. You have to pick AOC or Vance. That's the easiest choice of all time. It's AOC. What, you want JD Vance? None of you like JD Vance. You lie. None of you. There's not a single person on earth that enjoys JD Vance. Nobody has ever seen JD Vance walk in a room or say something and we're like, God damn, I'm glad JD Vance is here. That's great news. I was looking for some entertainment and some substantive points. Thank God JD Vance is here. JD Vance has completely forgotten how to laugh, too, by the way. I don't think that's a big enough story. Anybody seen JD Vance laugh lately? If I search JD Vance right now, we're gonna find him laughing. He's completely forgotten how to do this. Maybe I can just say laugh. Let's see. I saw this one. Yeah, I saw this one.
In the wise words of Ricky Bobby, I don't know what to do with my hands.
He started laughing before the quote. Watch this.
Ricky Bobby, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Don't feel bad. Neither do I half the time, man.
He doesn't know how to laugh anymore. He started so early on that one. I watched this on replay like 10 times. I'm going to watch it one more time. Wait for the joke, JD. If you want people to think you're a human being, perhaps wait for the joke.
In the wise words of Ricky Bobby, I don't know what to do with my hands.
So you'd vote communist because he has a dumb laugh? No, I'm not voting for a communist. AOC is not a communist. Goddamn, what the fuck? We're going to go over this, but like, you are the most programmable people. You know what's crazy? None of you said communist until like 2 months ago. Now all of you come in and say communist. You are the most programmable human beings I've ever seen in my life. You just turn on the TV or turn on your phone and some Republicans like, say communist. You're like, communist! And now you're all here every fucking day. It's the same thing. You just call everybody a communist. And none of you know what a communist is, so we're just going to tell you once again so you could stop looking stupid, which you won't do. Communists believe in abolishing all government and currency and class. So by definition, you'd have to find one of these people who says we need to abolish the entire government, abolish currency, and abolish the class system. If you find one of those people, you have found yourself a communist. And then to answer your question at that point, yes, I would vote for a communist over JD Vance. I would prefer communism over fascism. So yes, but AOC is not a communist. So that's as complete an answer as I can give you. But you guys got to start using that word correctly. However, I would say I would prefer communism over what we have now. I don't like oligarchy. I don't like fascism. I don't like authoritarianism. However you want to label it, yes, I do think if we had communists running the country, even if their intended goal was to abolish the government, which I don't like, I don't want the end result of communism. I do not want the government abolished. I do not want currency abolished. I would like the class system abolished. Even though I don't want that end, I would prefer having communists running our country, moving us in that direction, rather than where we are right now. Where we are right now is unsustainable, and it is just sucking all of the money out of the economy, giving it to a handful of people. It's completely broken, and we need a radical change. So hope that answers your question. Brittany said Trump shipping himself with shipping himself with George Washington was not on my 2026 bingo card. Assume you meant like putting himself in that picture with George Washington. Jamar says, so if ICE finds someone with some coke, they can just fucking shoot them. The fuck? Yeah, that's what they think. Commies go to China. Cool. We got them all worked up today. This is so stupid. Don't be butthurt Democrats. Okay, bud, we got you. Axe said, we're all Antifa. Hope everyone had a safe weekend. We're not all Antifa. There is some pho here. There's a good amount of pho, and they're using the word communist a lot. Pho, if you're unfamiliar with that, those anti-communist people, the pho is fascist, right? And fascists famously blamed everything and called everybody one of two things, a socialist or a communist. The fascisti in Italy and the fascists in Germany were very anti-socialist and very anti-communist. In fact, it wasn't just Jewish people that were locked up in concentration camps. It wasn't just Jewish people who were murdered. It was also communists and socialists and LGBTQ people, trans people specifically. All the same people that you hate, just unironically, are the exact same people that the fascisti and the Nazis hated. You're like, we're not like them. You're exactly like them. You are them, in fact. Put on your brown coats. It's time. Stop pretending that you're not them. If you don't know that you're them, honestly, read a fucking book. Watch a documentary. There's a great series on Netflix. I think it's called like, I don't remember. We watched it. It's like, I think it might be called like Hitler and the Nazis or something. I can't even remember what it's called. But it's on Netflix. It's like an 8-part series. Just go watch it and go listen to Hitler. You're like, God damn, he sounds exactly like Donald Trump. The Nazis had the exact same ideology as MAGA has today. In fact, there were Nazis in America that sounded exactly like MAGA today. And if you're new here, this might be new to you. But their slogan was America First. That was the American Nazi Party. America First. But no, those weren't fascists. You're not fascist. Got it. Let me check this real fast. This is from Brianna. Brianna says, white Christianity has always been anti-communist. The smallpox blankets just evolved over time. Thank you. Just a reminder, everybody, and thanks already for donating. We are crowdfunded. We rely on your generosity to make things work around here and to pay our bills. In the most unsurprising thing I saw this morning, is I took most of the weekend off, so some of this might be not new to you. Pearl Davis over here from Pearly Things, I think is her username, is defending the Tates.
Case against the Tates, that ultimately it will come down to the issue of consent. That they are going to, I suspect, say, yeah, we had relationships with these women, and everything that was conducted.
Frank, relax, bud. Take a lap. Somebody give Frank a 5-minute mute. Frank, go do some push-ups. Come back when you can calm down. Just 5 minutes, but you can stay here, but do some push-ups. Just put your phone down for a second. I'm worried about your mental health. I like you, Frank, for the record. I'm glad you're here every single day. I really am. But we got to work on your mental health for a minute.
In those relationships was consensual. I may be wrong, but that's my feeling about the way this is all going to play out, including the webcam business they ran and so on. But how can you be sure from the outside, given you weren't there when this was all going on, how can you be sure they never crossed that line?
Well, I obviously can't be sure if I wasn't there. I don't know. But
all right, good. Then you'll have some compelling evidence for why you have formed an opinion that the Tates are innocent.
If there's facts that come out that back up the girls, then I'll go with it. But I think a lot.
There's videos. What do you mean? What do you mean if there's facts that come out that support the girls? These are court cases where there's enough evidence to bring charges. She will not. The girls could have a videotape of them not giving consent and being abused, and she'd be like, yeah, but did they really mean it, or were they just playing it up for the camera? There's no scenario where she's going to change her support.
A lot of men in this country can relate. I mean, you guys have ex-girlfriends, don't you? You've never had an ex-girlfriend make up a lie about you, or you've never had that happen to a friend of yours. And for Ben Shapiro,
no. I have never had a friend be accused of running a human trafficking ring and raping multiple people. Not once has that ever happened. Do you guys have friends like that?
Oh, it's pretty hypocritical of him to crucify the Tates when the Daily Wire has ex-porn stars on their.
This is my favorite part. The Tates are accused of rape. Look what she now compares to rape.
Tates when the Daily Wire has ex-porn stars on their platforms. So they've had Nala Ray, they had on Lauren Southern, who accused a bunch of yeah.
Michael Knowles like reformed. They were just as bad as the Tates, but now they're reformed. Good joke, first of all, bud. It's crazy that nobody here was like, wait. You're comparing adult content to rape?
Yeah,
Wait,
I
is
know.
Lauren
But
Southern
they
a porn
still,
star? That's news to me.
Maybe not technically, but she.
Maybe not technically, but here we go. Let her explain why she's basically filming adult content.
Falsely accused a bunch of guys in the conservative party. Like it's, you know.
She's not, but she accused falsely, allegedly, men of abuse. Okay.
Women will do the most egregious of sins and do the most egregious things, and you guys all put them on your platforms. There's no question about it. But if
there are a lot of questions in interviews that go on for a long time. But there are a lot of, that's what an interview is. But then also, I think the crucial point you're missing,
Right,
Phil,
but you give
is
them
that
softball
it's one thing to put on
interviews
people
that
who
you
have
would never give a
reformed
guy.
and repented,
You give them
not people who are
softball interviews
unrepentant.
you give them softball interviews that you would never give the guy, and there's never any penance for it. So it's like, it's pretty hypocritical.
Give victims softball interviews is the criticism now. How dare you not criticize the women?
Critical that they're crucifying the Tates for making money off of cam work when you don't crucify the porn stars that come on your platform that also made money off of cam work. Like there's a bunch
we
of
try not to
OnlyFans models
crucify
out
people.
there.
I agree. That's true. We try not to do that. But I think you're making
I
an
know
apples
it's
and
like,
oranges comparison.
I know you think it's funny, but like this is a
Am I
claim from
laughing
like
at
10
you?
years ago.
Not on camera.
We're fans of. This is
Sorry.
a claim from like 10 years ago. So it's like we're
But Pearl, that doesn't make it automatically untrue.
I know.
And what we now have nearly 60 charges, and these aren't just trivial charges. These involve human trafficking, rape, sexual abuse, forming an organised crime group. We've just heard from a lawyer representing 4 of the women who says on the evidence he's seen, it's extremely compelling, extremely detailed, and that when people see the full details, they will understand what is really happening here.
I just think there's got to be an end date to it. You cannot keep dragging people to court from stuff from a decade ago. So if the evidence comes out,
you
and
can
I'm wrong,
based
I'm
on the
wrong.
statute of limitations, right? Isn't that how
Yeah,
the
I
law
know.
works?
I know in the UK it's
Well, no,
we're fans of.
Sorry, I keep accidentally playing this video that I'm going to play next, but that's the Pearlie's like, yeah, in the UK they have statute of limitations. Is Ash here? Ash debated Pearl one time, and she asked me how it went after, and I was like she's one of the like most uniquely gifted people at being purposefully dumb.
Every jurisdiction has some statute of
so
limitations
I
on certain
just-
crimes. I don't really understand what
Yeah,
you're arguing for.
I
Are you objecting to
understand
the
what you're
extradition?
saying, but
Yeah. So, anyways, no surprise there that Pearly Things gets it wrong on the Tates. I also wanted to show this. Admittedly, I stole this from Majority Report, and I didn't have this on the outline, but I want to show you this. So the Wall Street Journal, which is very pro-capitalist and very, very afraid of democratic socialists, put this hit piece out on democratic socialism. Somebody here in the chat just a minute ago was like, socialists want to take everything you earned but not work. And so whoever it was that said that, can you watch this video real fast? I want you to watch this video that the Wall Street Journal put out.
Socialists are obsessed with the Nordic model. Universal healthcare, big welfare states, all sold with Instagram-worthy aesthetics. The only problem? These countries aren't socialist. Their economies are highly competitive free markets built on.
Oh, interesting. Now the Wall Street Journal, the pro-capitalist Wall Street Journal, is providing nuance. Hey, I know these countries are doing well, but they're not actually socialist. They're run mostly by democratic socialists, and we've historically called them socialists. But now that they're doing well, we need to explain to you why they are not actually socialist. Which is, by the way, if you're wondering what my opinion is on economic theories, I believe in mixed economies. Not because like I have a ideology, but because they seem to work the best. Hypothetically, you can make socialism work. Hypothetically, you can make capitalism work. Hypothetically, you can make communism work. But the truth is, we live in a country with 350 million people. And trying to get everybody to agree on one economic theory is never going to fucking happen. So I like mixed economies. And that's why we point consistently to Scandinavia. But they have to do this now. They have to do this so that they can tell you that socialism doesn't work. That's the whole point. They have to say like, oh, well, socialism doesn't work because these are mixed economies. That's exactly what we would have. If the 20 or so democratic socialists get into office, we would have a mixed economy just like we do now, but there might be some sort of shift focused specifically on healthcare of, hey, we've got to fix our healthcare system, and it seems to be that single-payer healthcare is the best option. For anybody that's here today that is opposed to single-payer healthcare, I want to issue you a challenge. I would like you to make an argument against single-payer healthcare that isn't, I don't want to pay somebody else's bills. Make any argument whatsoever that's not like, I hate socialism, for why we shouldn't have single-payer healthcare, because every other country in the world has it, and and we're nowhere near the top. Every country that does it better than we do, they're cheaper, and they have better outcomes, and they have single-payer.
Private ownership and global trade. Finland, Denmark, Iceland, and Sweden consistently rank among the top 15 countries with the most economic and personal freedom. Scandinavian.
Oh, word? And they have single-payer healthcare, and they have paternity leave and maternity leave, and they have they have paid time off every year, guaranteed paid time off. They have essentially a living wage. So they have all of these things that would ruin our country, and yet they are consistently ranked as the most free.
15 countries with the most economic and personal freedom.
Most economic and personal freedom. And they have all these things that your politicians are telling you will take away your economic and personal freedom. How did they pull it off?
Scandinavian countries do offer more public services than the US, but they're paid for by broad and steep taxation. And it's not like the citizens.
Yeah. And yet they have more economic freedom. How did that work? How does that work out? How do they have more economic freedom and yet have higher taxes? That's what you guys have been told, right? That higher taxes is less economic freedom. It works like this. They collectively pay for goods, services provided by the government that are cheaper when provided by the government than they are in the private sector. And because of that, they pay more in taxes, but they pay less out of their pocket to those same services that would exist in the private sector. So ultimately, at the end of the month, after they've paid, 35, 40, 45, 50% taxes, they still have more money left over. Why? Because that money was going to go somewhere anyways. If you're not paying if you're not paying for healthcare through the government, you're paying for it somewhere. So they wind up having more economic freedom. This isn't an ideological argument. You're just being told to make it an ideological argument so that the people who run your party and who finance your party and who finance the Wall Street Journal can keep paying lower taxes and keep their control over the American economy. The Wall Street Journal put this out as an opinion piece and as a hit piece on purpose. It's a pretty shitty hit piece here. It's a pretty shitty piece of propaganda, because what they have to do is they have to admit that all these things that they're telling you will lead to the downfall of our country didn't lead to the downfall of these countries. In fact, these countries found a way to not only provide services, but also to have a mixed economy that provides more economic freedom than we have. This is a tricky tightrope for them to try and walk. It's not going well.
Citizens are just sitting around collecting benefits. In Norway, labor force participation is higher than it is in the US. Yes.
Okay, where was that person? Where was socialists want to take your money, but they don't want to work? Why are the socialists here working more than you and I in our country? They have a higher workforce participation rate. Remember that argument that you guys keep being told? Oh, if you do socialism, then nobody will work. Well, in Scandinavia, more people are working. You know why? They're healthier. That's the truth. They're healthier. They have better wages. They have paid time off. They have a better quality of life. That's why more of them are working. Think of any job where income is low. It's harder to get people to come to work. One, there's not a great incentive to come to work. But two, people get sick. People die. We don't offer worker protections. People work in conditions that are not that don't benefit their health, that can make their health worse. This is one of the worst pieces of propaganda I've ever seen, to be like, we should keep things in America how they are.
These countries have lower levels of crime and economic inequality and higher levels of public trust, but they're ethnically and culturally homogenous and so much smaller than America.
There it is. Now let's talk about this. They're ethnically and culturally homogenous. Somebody from the chat, can you explain to me why ethnic and cultural homogeny would make all of this more possible? It's just taxpayer money, right? It's just taxpayers paying. What does cultural homogeny and ethnic homogeny have to do with any of this? John, bingo, whites. Explain it. It's true. What they're saying is true. Explain how it's related, though. This is why the Republican Party has so many racist messages. This is why their messaging is so racist. They need to continue to throw this out there as a way to say, yes, it works other places, but it won't work here because we are ethnically more diverse. How does that make a difference? Somebody explain to me how paying for healthcare, having single-payer healthcare is easier if you are ethnically homogenous. John, I need an answer. Have you been there? Yes, I have. Somebody give me an answer. Let's get MAGA in the chat here. Please just explain it to me. Stop talking about anybody who's just talking about Democrats right now. We can mute you for a minute at a time or 2 minutes, whatever it is. I need a good argument for this. My trailer shift, 2-minute mute. Why would mass immigration problems change their citizens getting health care? No migrants to take jobs from them. Wait, no, they have a higher labor participation rate. Higher. So, yeah, more of them are working. We have plenty of jobs here. Anybody? I'm looking at TikTok chat too. Isn't this? Do you feel sad that you don't have an answer for this? Migrants drive citizens out of jobs. Where are you getting that data? How did you come to that conclusion? Illusion said, for work, progressives got us weekends, 8-hour days, and safety training. Conservatives got us slavery. That says it all. True. IMFRCD said time wounds all heals. That's John Lennon. What? Illusion, we're going to read that. The conservatives got us slavery. And a bunch of conservatives in here are going to say Democrats were the party of slavery because they don't understand the difference between conservatism and parties. We all know that that's what's going to happen. I am racist. Got it. Thank you. You guys have an argument, though? Okay.
The population of the New York City metro area is 4 times the size of the entire country of Norway.
All right, let's take that argument. Conservatives, do you think health insurance companies, let's use United Healthcare, do you think they want more clients or less? Do you think they want more people enrolled or less people enrolled? Everybody can answer this. More, just one word answer, more or less. Do you think healthcare companies want more or less people enrolled in their healthcare or health insurance, I guess? Just more or less, more. Does anybody think less? Is anybody going to say less here? Less illusion. No. Yeah, they want more, right? Why do they want more? They want more people enrolled because that allows them to mitigate risk, allows them to spread out the risk pool. The more people you have paying in, the more you can cover expenses. So this argument doesn't make any fucking sense. Well, we have way more people than them. That's a win. That's a benefit for us. That's a sign that our system would work better because we have more people paying in, meaning that risk is spread out over more people. We also are a larger economy. We are not. We have very different even climates in our country. So if you have a disaster roll through Florida and people are out of jobs, let's say in an area there for 3 or 4 months, it's not going to make it impossible for us to pay our bills because we have all these other states, right? This argument has never made any sense. None of these arguments so far make any sense. They're all pointing to we should definitely do single payer healthcare.
Comparing apples to oranges.
Wouldn't less people mean that people would be more healthy? No. Why would less people mean people are more healthy?
By the way, Norway is Western Europe's largest oil and natural gas producer. That's the reason for their economic success, not the welfare state.
Nobody gives the welfare state a reason, saying that the welfare state is why they have economic success. But it can point to like economic protection, economic liberty. People in Norway work under better conditions. You know who else produces a lot of oil? Us. Way more than them. Way more than them. And they take that money and pay to take care of the people that live in their country. And we take that money and we give it to billionaires and we use it to bomb the Middle East over and over again.
Today's socialist sympathizers really want inspiration?
Yes.
They should look to Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, Soviet Russia. I wonder why.
Should we? None of those are socialists. Those are all mixed economies too.
They never mention those countries.
Because of the economic sanctions that we put on those countries. Let's get those real quick here.
They should look to
Cuba, we sanction.
Cuba,
Venezuela, we sanction. We also steal their leaders. North Korea, we sanction. Soviet Russia, we sanctioned. What have we never done to Scandinavia? Sanctioned them. We've never attacked any of these Scandinavian countries. That's the difference. When you cut off their ability to do trade with the rest of the world, because our massive economy gives us crazy leverage where we can go to our trading partners, and even if our trading partners want to trade with Venezuela, North Korea, with the previous Soviet Russia, or Cuba, it doesn't make sense for them. If we say to them, if you do trade with any of these countries, you cannot do trade with us, they're going to do trade with us because we're much bigger. We have a massive economy. It's not a condemnation of socialism or of Cuba or of Venezuela. It's just a reality that Cuba and Venezuela can't replace the economic powers of the United States. And if your country relies on exporting goods to the United States or relies on being trade partners with the United States in any way, then we have leverage. And so we're going to be able to tell them, yeah, you can't do any trade with Cuba or Venezuela. Just thought it was a pretty shitty piece of propaganda
North
there.
North Korea, Soviet Russia. I wonder why they never mention those countries.
There we go. Most of you are closet MAGA. I know it. No, we're not all closet stupid here. Amy said, weird. We're losing jobs left and right and also losing immigrants. So apparently less immigrants equals less jobs. Good point. A very, very good point. Mithsa said, my weekly donation. Love you. Thank you. Love you too. Make sure I got this one over here. Stacy said, hang in there. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. I'm hanging in there. We're gonna get there. The legal system just moves slowly. So we'll get there eventually. All right. Moving on here. This is Representative Michael Ruley. And again, just wanted to point out, today's title is The Democrats Have an Iran Problem. And the Democrats do have a problem, and we will get to that. But first, I'm going to just show that Republicans should be able to dominate the midterms historically. Just because of the split in the Democrat Party. There is a massive split in the Democrat Party. Republicans should be able to take advantage of that, and they're trying to take advantage of that. But what they can't do is take advantage of it by saying, here's what we've done for you. Here's what's going well. They're doing the same thing the chat's doing. The chat's doing it because they're doing it, and they're telling the chat what to say. You're just saying communism and socialism. If things were going so well, you wouldn't have to go back to Red Scare tactics. You would be able to point to, this is what's going well in this country right now. This is why Republicans deserve another 2 years.
I think affordability is always going to be the key. You know, in Ohio, we're seeing eggs, under $1. We're seeing bread hovering around $1. Gas is still in the $3 range. It's going to matter where, we're in the pocketbook. But, I'm trying to help. Bernie Moreno and I are trying to help get John Huston, Vivek Ramaswamy elected. So we're campaigning like a badger out there. And we're seeing that the people, especially our base, they're very motivated by this communist movement. I think the Democrats had a bad.
Affordability is the key, and what we're finding out is that our base cares about communism. Republicans, respectfully, you better hope to God your base is bigger than it has been. You better hope to God that your base grew massively. even since 2024. You're going to need a very, very big base in order for the message of communism is scary to work. But every indicator says your base has gotten smaller. That doesn't mean Democrats have gotten more popular. Your base has disengaged. If we still have the Groypers here, I know we're not talking about Nick Fuentes anymore. We will in a little bit. They've all checked out. That used to be part of your base. There are broad sections of your base who have checked out, and they're not going to vote for Democrats, but they are going to stay home. You need those people. And this communism, socialism messaging, it's not working for people outside of your base. So unless you think you've expanded your base, you're in real trouble.
Playbook. You saw Nancy Pelosi last weekend saying, let's have this debate about communism in 2027. The people are going to be motivated. You know, they were counting on the Trump voters staying at home, and the way they're acting and this.
But we're deporting your base, so yeah, that's dumb. What you just said was dumb, right? Really, really dumb. First of all, you've only deported like a couple 100,000 people. Second of all, there's no evidence the people who are here who are undocumented vote. And this is where we just need you guys to like check into reality right now. What I said is true. What you said isn't true. Just address reality.
Extreme push towards the farthest of the left, I think, is going to motivate the base, and maybe will divide their base.
Well,
I think.
All right. I don't think this is going to divide the base for Democrats. The same thing. Like Democrats who are afraid of socialism, and there are some. There's a divide here. Those people will stay home. They're not going to go vote for Trump. The midterms here, it's all about like who can you lionize, and then who can you get to be incentivized to go out and vote. Right now, the only people incentivized and the only people excited to go out and vote on the left are progressives. So naturally, you're going to speak to that. Some moderate Democrats, a majority of moderate Democrats, I assume, are going to go out and vote, and some will stay home. But you're not going to find moderate Democrats who voted for Harris and voted for Biden watching what's happening now and be like, you know what? I'm voting for Trump. That's not going to happen. And by voting for Trump, I just mean voting for Republicans, because every Republican is just Trump. Like in Arizona, we had a real, like the Republican nomination for governor. It was between David Schweikert and Andy Biggs. Andy Biggs is an election-denying, Donald Trump ball-gurgling loser who has never passed a single thing I think over a decade in Congress. David Schweikert is a legitimate fiscal conservative. David Schweikert, every time he gets to the floor of the Senate, talks about cutting spending. He talks about the debt all the time. He's the biggest deficit hawk in Congress. I believe he might have been a doctor. I can't remember what his previous occupation was. Very intelligent man. I don't like David Schweikert. I don't think David Schweikert, I would prefer somebody else be in Congress from the Democratic Party over David Schweikert. But here in Arizona, Andy Biggs is going to be the GOP nominee for governor because Donald Trump said so, not because he's a better candidate. He is a dog. Like, he's one of the worst candidates you've ever put up. The last three people that have run for governor in Arizona have been Carrie Lake, an actual psychopath. Like, she actually lost her mind. Who ran before Carrie Lake? Now I'm trying to remember. Who was it that ran before Carrie Lake? Does anybody remember? Or was there nobody before that? Is that when Ducey left? I know it was Ducey before, but was there somebody else that ran besides Carrie Lake? I mean, Andy Biggs got 71% of the vote. By the way, this is interesting here. If you want to look at that ad doing, you want to see who's more engaged. This is the sitting governor, Katie Hobbs. She got 443,000 votes in an uncontested primary. In a contested primary, Andy Biggs got 288,000 votes. Total votes in a contested primary were 40,000 less than the Democrats got in a uncontested primary for a sitting governor. Republicans in Arizona are not engaged. They are not excited to vote for any of these people. Carrie Lake can make your eyeballs vibrate. Is that true? All right. Going back, I'm going to skip 5. I put that in the wrong place. Jessica Tarlov was on with the 5. And this is, again, like the biggest problem that Republicans are going to have in running this anti-socialist message is that, one, none of them seem to know what socialism is. And 2, when they are given pushback, they don't know how to defend their fear of socialism. Here is Jessica Tarlov on the 5, and just watch the response from people who are paid to have an opinion. They are paid to defend the Trump administration. They are paid to be anti-socialist, and they should have a good argument, but you'll see they don't.
You say that's the point of socialism. You keep them passive. And I could make the argument, and I will make the argument, that you guys have been kept passive because you didn't say anything when Donald Trump took a stake in U.S. Steel or in Intel. If a Democratic president had done that, you would have lost your mind. You would have said, socialism is coming to the shore.
Explain the stake and how it works.
Oompa Loompa Doompity Dumb has no idea. I obviously know what's going on, but yeah, you explain that. Would you just explain what do you mean by this stake? He might not know that the U.S. government has taken a stake in private businesses, which is, like, by definition, that's socialism, right? The people who are represented by the government getting control of the means of production. But, like, by definition, that would be socialism, right? Loosely, because it's not total control over the means of production. But now the people, us, have control over the means of production of private companies. We don't work for these companies. We don't work for Intel. I don't know if anybody here works for Intel, but I would guess that almost everybody here does not work for Intel, and yet we collectively own 10% of their business. By definition, that's socialism.
Please. Like, how is that the same as socialism?
It is a private company that the government, so in socialism and really in full-blown communism, I guess, is supposed to own the means of production, to control every facet of life in said country. So when Donald Trump says, hey, I'd like 10%. This is a nice business you got over there. I'd like 10% of it. Oh, no,
that's never been done before.
He's not controlling the company.
No, it's never been done before. No.
Just putting money into it. It's industrial policy.
No, wait, hold on.
He's just putting money into it. It's industrial.
He's putting money into it. It's an industrial policy. None of them seem to know that Donald Trump took interest. Greg Gutfeld laughing at Tarlov, like, yeah, that's what it was. He has no idea.
No, they have to pay a tithe to the U.S. government. Everyone knows that. That's why they show up in the Oval Office.
Didn't we do that with the banks and the bailouts? It happens a lot.
No, we didn't do that with the banks in the bailout. What we did is we gave the banks money. We gave them a loan, and they paid it back. What we should have done is taken ownership of the banks that we gave money to. We should have conditioned the bailout that we gave them with ownership, so we could share in the revenue, and we could use that revenue to help the people who were hurt by the banks overextending themselves and causing an economic crisis. This is a criticism, by the way, of Obama, who, if he was a socialist, would have taken ownership, but he wasn't. We should have. Amy Lynn also says Obama and Biden deported more. True.
Different. No, it is absolutely different than the bailouts. And
that's true. GM paid it all back with interest, which, again, I'm glad that they paid it back with interest, but I would have preferred that if we were going to save their company, that we share in the revenue in perpetuity. Why not make a good deal?
Absolutely.
What about Tesla? This happens a lot. The government.
We don't own Tesla. We don't own any percentage of Tesla.
Gives money, loans money, gets paid back.
It's not just a government contract. It is ownership. It is part ownership of an American company that is supposed to be distinct from the government. If you were not being massive hypocrites, but you are, and we are out of time.
So you should love it then, right? Because you're
so you admit that it's going on.
I'm just going through your line.
Yeah. Whenever anybody asks me, name one thing you think Trump has done well, this is the thing I say. He got ownership of Intel. He gave them a break, and he got ownership of Intel. I like this, for the record. If you need us to prop you up, then we get to share in your profits. If you're going to have these massive monopolies, then that needs to go to benefit everybody, not just you and the people working there. If you're going to ruin other companies, if you're going to destroy other companies, if you're going to gobble up other companies, if you're going to destroy jobs by becoming a monopoly, then yeah, we get to share in the revenues.
Of
I'm
logic.
not a
You should
socialist.
no, but you should like it
I'm a
because
normal
the taxpayers
corporatist
made
dad.
billions of dollars on that investment.
That also is an absolute lie. His investment level, what is he, at 19 trillion or whatever that's coming into the coffers? They're paying more out than they're taking in because of their illegal tariffs anyway.
Also, the 19 trillion is a made-up number that isn't real. We've never seen any evidence of that number existing. All right, let's talk about the problem that the Democrats have. First of all, this is Bernie Sanders. I like this answer, and I wanted to introduce this so that people don't rip my head off because everybody likes Bernie more than they like me. But I'm with Bernie. There is, and I don't think we should pretend that there's not a massive divide in the Democrat Party. There is. This is not a party that's unified. It's not a party that has a coherent message top to bottom. It is a party right now that is at odds with each other. You have progressive Democrats who want radical change, and you have moderate Democrats who want moderate change. And that's the divide between the two. But pretending that it doesn't exist doesn't help anybody. I think the argument needs to be brought full force. If I turned on TikTok, which we don't debate on TikTok very often anymore, I would much prefer seeing moderate Democrats and progressive Democrats debating. Good debates. Like, I don't want to see debates where they're at each other's throat, but I would love to see these ideas debated. I don't think running from the fact that there's a divide is a good idea here. I think what Democrats should do, and what I do think is actually happening, is the progressive Democrats might not get everybody on board with their views, specifically on Israel and Iran and foreign policy. Probably not going to get everybody on board with prison reform or police reform. But what does seem to be working is that I don't know any Democrats now. There's probably a few holdouts, but almost every Democrat now is talking about, hey, I'm not really for everything that the DSA wants, but I am for Medicare for all. Medicare for all now has become an issue that's like a 90-10 issue in the Democratic Party. So having those debates and making sure that everybody agrees that, Medicare for all is a policy we should run on, that's huge. That's a huge win for progressives. That's a huge win for the country, and it's going to be a huge win for people in Texas. I'll show a video if we get to it later of voters in Texas who are now like, "Hey, we're done with Trump. We're done with MAGA. We're going Talarico."
There is, as you know, though, concern within Democratic circles that these inter-party primary fights are draining resources and sort of pulling away from what should be a unified message. Rahm Emanuel wrote in the Wall Street Journal, the Bernie bros could spoil Democrats' midterms. He said the DSA and others are saddling the party with nominees who, as he put it, wildly unpopular positions will protect Republicans from having to pay the price of Donald Trump's corruption. He said it was the socialists who led the charge to defund the police, open borders, abolish prisons. He's saying those are losing messages that are going to hurt the party overall. How do you respond?
That is what Rahm Emanuel is saying, who no doubt has the support of millions of working class people. Look, this is an argument. There's no debate. There is a strong division within the Democratic Party. You have an establishment like Rahm Emanuel, who are dependent on billionaire campaign contributors who want to maintain the status quo. Then you have a progressive movement, which, by the way, what is getting these guys nervous is we are winning all over this country. It's not only Mamdani in New York City, it's in New Jersey, it's in Ohio, it's in Colorado. People are sick and tired of the Rahm Emanuels and the Democratic establishment and the Republican establishment. They are asking simple questions, Margaret. Why in God's name are we the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right?
Now, if you want to look at historical precedent, and you want to look at a party who was fractured, and there was a more radical wing of the party, and you say, could a fractured party where the radical wing was more popular with the people, could they do well in the midterms? Could they overturn a majority from the other party when the other party is in lockstep? Yes. Absolutely. Look at the Tea Party. Look at MAGA. MAGA and the Tea Party, they're basically the same thing. Trump obviously branded it. But this is exactly how Donald Trump got full control over the Republican Party. And while I would say that on average, Democrats are more educated and less likely to fall for obviously stupid propaganda than Republicans, I'll stand by that. I also think that most people just get in line. Most people fall in line. Most people aren't having this argument. The pundits are having this argument. Members of Congress are having this argument. I'm having this argument. Other people that would be viewed as on the left are having this argument. But regular fucking people are not. Every time people go to the polls, 60, 70, 80%, depending on the year, are just showing up and voting down ballot, party line. Most of the time, they don't know what the fuck they're even voting for. They might know some of the names. They might have seen some campaigns. But most people show up and vote down party lines. Now, Democrats do a good job in midterms getting their base to show up. Again, the base is not going to go MAGA. There are very few people who are like, you know what, I'm so pro-Israel, I'm so pro-Zionist that I now have to vote for Republicans. There's not that many of those people. There's some. It is absolutely true that there are some Fetterman-type Democrats who are going to be like, I'm voting for Republicans now. That number is infinitesimally small. It is not a big number. The progressive wing includes people who sat out the 2024 election. It includes virtually all new voters. Turning Point USA is bleeding right now. These get out the vote movements for conservatives are dead. Nobody's rallying around like, we got to fund Israel. More tax cuts for billionaires. That's dying. Go look at the attendance for Turning Point USA. That was the biggest tool that Republicans had. That was their best tool by far. It's fractured within the Republicans too, but the problem is the Republicans don't have anything to rally around. Republicans aren't going to drive turnout. And they know that. That's why they're trying to do the Red Scare thing. I just think it's outdated. But there is historical precedent in the Tea Party for a progressive movement in a fractured party to push that party into winning the midterms, and then the party makes a hard shift. I'm not necessarily predicting that. But if I had to bet on what the future of the Democratic Party looks like 10 years from now, I bet it looks a hell of a lot more like Bernie Sanders than it does Nancy Pelosi. I think that we're going to be talking about AOC in party leadership. She's going to be the face of the party. Zoran Mamdani, face of the party. It's these more progressive people that are going to become the face of the party. And if the Democrats not only win the midterms, but also the progressives push and they win the midterms, then there is now a mandate to change the leadership to become more progressive. We will see a hell of a lot more Elizabeth Warren, a hell of a lot more Bernie Sanders, a hell of a lot more AOC, a hell of a lot more Rashida Tlaib, a hell of a lot more Ilhan Omar. We're going to see a hell of a lot more Ro Khanna. The people that we actually like are going to become the leadership, and the people that we don't like as a progressive, those people will be pushed out. So I'm saying this all in context of, yes, there's a divide, but I don't believe that the divide is crushing morale. I believe that the divide is actually increasing people's activity level and engagement in this process. You can see it in Arizona. You can see it in every state. Go look at the primary numbers. Democrats are dominating primary voting. They are far more excited to vote than Republicans.
Simple question. Canada does it. Europe does it. Somehow we can't do it. Why do we have an economy in which one man missed the bus?
That base isn't good enough to beat Republicans. We have terrible candidates. No, yes, it is, because it's not a total vote. Right? You have to remember that these are localized votes, largely localized votes. There's some Senate races, but we can show you the map. Like, well, let me play Bernie here, and then I'll show you the map. I'll show you why it is possible. I understand what you're saying, but let's look at it.
Owns more wealth than the bottom half of American society.
Yeah.
Why do the economists tell us that in the richest country in the history of the world, our kids will likely have a lower standard of living than their parents? The American people are tired of a rigged economy, a corrupt campaign finance system. They want real change. They don't want Rahm Emanuel and the establishment maintaining the status quo.
But in the meantime, I hear you on the message that you think is resonating on the, the tactical planning here. Do you think in the state of Michigan that you were just talking about with Abdul El-Sayed, he's a public health official, he's a populist, but he's running against a moderate Haley Stevens. Do you really think that in a state like Michigan, it's going to be a progressive Democrat who could beat a Republican in November? This was a state Trump narrowly won.
Absolutely. Whether it's Michigan, Minnesota.
Contra Coop, I agree. Dems have shit ratings worse than Trump. Agreed. But they're not running as a party, right? Individual candidates are running. Democrats as a whole do not have a good approval rating, but that doesn't really matter right now. It doesn't seem to matter because they're showing up. Republicans are not showing up. Democrats are showing up. You can say anything you want, but they're showing up. Specifically, progressives are showing up. First-time voters are showing up.
Vermont or any place else in this country. The point I'm trying to make, Margaret, and the polling indicates this, the people are sick and tired of the status quo.
Yes.
We are the richest country in the history of the world. We should have the highest standard of living for all of our people, not massive income and wealth inequality. And by the way, we should not be continuing to get involved in genocidal wars with Israel in Gaza, or getting involved in the destruction of Lebanon. People want change in foreign policy and in domestic policy. The status quo is not working.
But for Republicans who are looking at this, they're saying that's great. Is Bernie going to tell his supporters not to show up, for example, if Haley Stevens wins out in Michigan? Or will you say, in the end, the Democrats have to unify?
Margaret, the Republicans, and maybe it's the Republican establishment, maybe it's the billionaires who own the Republican Party. Your working class Republicans are not going to say that. They can't afford to pay for health care. They can't afford to send their kids to college. They can't afford decent retirements. And more than a few of them, by the way, will be voting for Peggy Flanagan in Minnesota and Abdul in Michigan.
All right. And pull this map up here for you. So here's what we're talking about. Now, the way that this works, you have Kalshi odds, you have consensus odds here. These are all the, in Congress, these are all the competitive races. You can go through all of them, but what I'm going to do right now is we're going to look for on the map here. We're going to look for places that are considered a toss-up, and we're going to go with the consensus odds, and we're going to say who's going to win these races, and let's look at the numbers. So the first one we get to is Debbie Wasserman Schultz in Florida 25. It looks like she's up there. So we're going to go down here to Florida 25. Oh, it's already listed blue, right? Let's see. Sorry. Go too far. Where is she then? Where's her district in Florida? Oh, it's right here. So we're going to mark that blue. Then we're going to scroll down here. And what did I do? Did I click on the other one? What did I just do? Did I make that go away? Oh, there were more there. All right, let's go. Okay. I don't know why it's not showing this. This is Iowa 3. You go down here to Iowa 3, Zach Nunn. That looks like it's going to go blue. Okay, now we've got it there. So Iowa 3 should go blue. Now we have Iowa 1. Going to go down here to Iowa 1. 77% blue, so we're going to turn Iowa 1 blue. We go up here to Wisconsin 3. That's Van Orden. Looks like that's going blue. 66% chance. And again, these are just odds, so this is not 100% accurate. Something could change. Michigan 7. I mean, is there a single one Republicans are winning yet of these contested ones? So far, none. Michigan 7, Tom Barrett. Looks like going to lose 67% chance to turn blue there. Let's go over here to Ohio 9. 75% chance to be blue. So we're going to get Ohio 9. We're going to turn that blue. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you guys can see this. We'll go through. All right, now we're at Pennsylvania 10. Scroll down here. PA 10, that's Scott Perry. Looks 82% chance to turn blue. Ooh, God bless you. Pennsylvania 10 turning blue. Okay, let's go over here to Rob Bresnahan, Pennsylvania 8. 65% chance to turn blue. Go down here to Pennsylvania 7. 76% chance to go blue. We noticing a pattern yet, Republicans? I mean, I guess you can sit there and pretend that none of this is happening. New Jersey 7. I don't trust polls. I can't see the chat right now because I'm doing this. I'm guessing the chat is just saying I don't trust polls. 79% chance to turn blue. These are Kalshi odds too. Kalshi odds have been incredibly accurate, by the way. New York 17. That's Mike Lawler, who is now favored to lose. Mike Lawler, 65% chance to lose now in New York. Scroll down here to, let's see. What are we at? Virginia 2. Sorry if you guys hate this. 80% chance to be blue. The crazy district there. North Carolina 1. We're going to leave that. 51% for what? I mean, I guess, yeah, right now it's a lean blue, so I guess we can do it now. So we have all of them. But that one could be different. Again, these are not like electoral votes, so it's just 1-to-1. Am I missing any others? Oh, down here in Texas, we're missing one. Texas 34. Where's Texas 30? Oh, up here. 76% chance to be blue. Let's scroll through the country to see if I missed any. You guys let me know if I missed one. Oh, there's one over here. Michigan 10. 65% blue. Some of these districts, it's crazy how small they are. Arizona's good. I'm missing in California. Washington. Okay. So that's what it looks like. 225 to 210. That's pretty good for them, right? Amy said, Dems have shit ratings, but we have flipped more than 30 seats and Republicans have flipped 0. 30 to 0 is a good record. We're seeing record turnout for Democrats. I also missed, I think, Amy, when you said Obama and Biden deported more. Maybe I didn't, but we'll read it again there. If you want to look at the Senate, we can look at the interactive map there. Now, this is an old one. This is where I had it. The last time we looked at it, I had the Senate 54-46. We'll just see if any of that has changed. Alaska looks like staying red. We'll keep it there. Let's look at Maine. Susan Collins still looks blue. I've got Susan Collins. I've got it blue there. Michigan looks like is going to go blue. Got it blue. Ohio. Who's this consensus for? Okay, Ohio looks like red. Which I think that looks like it's switched now. So we had it blue before. So it looks like 53-47 is where we're at in the Senate. Again, Kalshi odds have been very, very accurate. That doesn't mean that they're going to still show up to vote. But that's how bad things are for Republicans, that you have this fractured party, and the fractured party is actually creating momentum. Here though, polling from Harry Enten, he's explaining this, and this is why it's such a mind fuck. And I think this scares a lot of Democrats, and maybe it shouldn't. But ironically enough, Democrats are as unpopular as they've ever been, and they still have a chance to do something historic, and they're favored to do something historic despite record low approval rating.
The Democrats, or you might think the Democrats in Congress, could see some kind of boost in the polls on this subject. You might think that, but you'd be wrong. With us this morning, CNN Chief Data Analyst.
Whatever, man.
I'm tongue-tied because actually these numbers surprised me. I was looking at them and I am surprised that they are like this. So who do the voters say they trust on Iran?
Johnny B is not the only one who's surprised. You would be looking at all the news coverage. You'd be looking at all the polling on President Trump, and you would think that Democrats would be able to take advantage and be dominating Republicans when it comes to who is trusted to handle the Iran war. That, simply put, is not the case at all. I mean,
let's look at that real quick. But Kelsey first said, is Hootie going to grow some balls today and stop pretending they have meetings that bar them from speaking with Jay? Stop being a perpetual hypocritical bitch in the comments. Hootie, do not. I agree. I think it is not a good move to be a perpetual hypocritical bitch. So if you are being that, I'm not making any judgments. I would recommend stopping.
And these numbers are quite surprising. Trust Dems or Republicans on a run. According to CNBC earlier this month, you'd think, okay, that's one poll. The Republicans trusted by 2 points. But then CBS News comes out yesterday, and what do you see? You see the exact same thing. Trump and the Republicans take the cake. They are trusted by 2 points on a run. Now,
once again, but these are national polls, right? And that's what's so interesting about the polling that we're looking at. You have to look at what matters. This tells me, when you look at a poll, you try and figure out, what's it telling you? This isn't a poll about who you're voting for, right? This is an opinion poll. Who do you trust more on Iran? Trump or the Democrats? Trump. What does that mean about America? I think it means that we're afraid of Muslims. That's what it tells me. Fucking kill them, blow them up. We still have a problem here with the way that we view the Middle East. That's what it says to me. Good to see you, Asta Sophia, and Big W Asta Sophia for sending $50 over on PayPal. Said greetings from across the pond. Greetings to you, and I hope you're currently enjoying your single-payer healthcare after your 6-week paid vacation that you guys get because your country's not run by idiots.
Polls one thing, but you put the two of them together, and you can see that the American people simply put.
Michael, is it Michelle? Bitching? Don't bitch about CNN. This is CNBC and CBS. You're bitching about the wrong thing. These are CNBC and CBS polls. Don't be upset at CNN.
Are not buying what Democrats are selling on Iran. They still trust Republicans more, even if you look at President Trump's approval ratings on the subject, and they're negative too, but yet Republicans and Trump still more trusted than Democrats are in Iran.
Has there been any change over time?
No, and this is even more surprising, right? You might think, okay, as the war has gone on and on and on, you might think, hey, the Democrats would be gaining ground in terms of trust that the American people would give them on Iran. If anything, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. Trust Democrats or Republicans more in Iran. In April, according to a Washington Post Ipsos poll, the Democrats were more trusted by 2 points. Again, close margin, no clear leader. But look where the shift has been. If anything, the shift has been in the Republican direction. Now the Republicans and Donald Trump are trusted more by 2 points on Iran.
It'd be interesting to get in their minds, but if I'm trying to get in the mind of the average voter or person that's taking this poll, I think if I wanted to give Republicans, or if I wanted to say why Republicans are more trusted on this, I would think it's because their strategy is coherent. The strategy, as far as understanding the strategy, everybody knows what Republicans want to do. They want to wipe Iran off the map. Messaging from Democrats is all over the place. There's anywhere from we're on board, we need to keep bombing them, we need to make sure that they don't have a nuclear program, we support Israel, to this is an unjustified war, to we're committing acts of genocide. It's incredibly fractured on the left. Again, I don't think this is going to matter very much in the midterms. I don't think that this type of polling is at the top of people's minds. And if you guys, I'm not going to ask this because I do think this is one of those places that you wouldn't necessarily want to be on the record. But if you just think about this in your own mind, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But is this your number one issue? Probably not, right? I'm going to be honest. It's not. My number one issue is single-payer healthcare. That's my number one issue voting in the midterms. I don't think this is anybody's number one issue. Do I believe strongly that we should pull out? Yeah. Do I believe my vote can really affect that much? Not really. I need to, can we vote in people who want single payer? Yeah, we can do that. It's really hard, especially with how fractured and incoherent Democrat messaging is on this. It would be hard to even know the people I'm voting for, what their stance is when it comes to how we handle Iran. There's been no real stance by Democrats there.
So, again, over the
showerheads, that's the number one. That's right. Besides showerheads, single payer healthcare is my number one.
course of the war, if anything, the Republicans have been the ones that have been gaining ground, which I think just goes so opposed to all of the news.
No, we're talking about Iran, Gracias, and 2-minute mute for Gracias for not staying on subject. Gracias, we're going to be hard on you today. You got to stay on topic, bud.
Coverage that we have seen so far, and all of, the media, you would think, hey, but no, the American people are actually trusting the Republicans and Trump, if anything, more now than they were so let's say halfway through the
So
war.
how possible is it that part of this is just that Americans don't like Democrats in Congress much at all?
Yeah, I think this is a big part of it. The Democratic Party...
Raise your hand if you like the Democrats as a whole.
...in the minds of the American public are weak, to quote the great Tony Blair. I mean, just look at this. Just look at these net approval ratings of Democrats in Congress. In late February, at the beginning of the war, it was minus 41 points, minus 39, minus 39. And so you're just looking at these numbers right here, and you go to yourself, no wonder what's going on at this point, that Democrats simply put cannot take the ball and run with it and actually in the polls be trusted more than run, because the Democrats in Congress simply put are not well liked. In fact, these are the three lowest on record in terms of percentage points for the approval for Democrats in Congress. So it all puts together a picture. Donald Trump and Republicans may not be liked, but Democrats in Congress are really hated.
A lot of this is
as a whole with a W or as a whole with an H. Dealer's choice. But I didn't see anybody say I like Democrats in here. There we go. So there's like 700-ish people here on YouTube. I don't know about Twitch, and I don't know about TikTok. There's probably well over 1,000 people watching right now, and 0 people put their hands up to say I like Democrats. So for all of you who think this is like a rah Democratic cheerleading live, there's your answer. It's not. That's why we don't get any money from George Soros and the Democrats. They don't like us either.
I mean, there are Democrats who are unhappy with their own party, who Democrats hope might vote for them anyway in November.
You know, it'd be much easier.
Yeah, Ruth. Shia law will never simulate. Thank you. That's very important, guys. It is important to remember that Shia law will never simulate. Chet, you put your hand up? I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Good for you, Chet. Santa, I like that. You're not afraid. I appreciate you being here, as always, Chet. Thanks, buddy.
They were, actually liked.
Harry. All right. So there's the polling. Now, I don't think that this matters that much, like I said, as far as the election goes, but I do think they could fix the messaging, and I don't think it would be that difficult because it's incoherent from the conservatives. The nice thing about being conservative is you can just say dumb shit, and it's basically like Muslims are scary, we have to kill them, and 90% of Republicans are like, oh, yeah, that's right. Here's Mike Waltz on Meet the Press Sunday morning, and just listen to how incoherent what he says here is.
Hostage. You raise assets. I want to ask you about the assets. NBC News is reporting the Pentagon is actually rationing some defense weaponry amid diminishing supplies. Is America backing away from a larger military attack because its military stockpile has been depleted?
Well, look, we have to take a step back here.
There it is, Brian. They want to kill us. There you go. See how easy that is for Republicans? Hey, they want to kill you. Okay, kill them. What evidence do you have? I think somebody told me they were chanting it. I don't know where that came from. I've never seen any of that evidence, but somebody told me they were chanting that, so we got to kill them. See what I mean? Like in real time, they're just like, yeah, that's all it takes for us. Tell us that they hate us, and we'll just be like, kill them.
And that a lot of stockpiles were depleted, not only from what we gave Ukraine over the last however many years, 4 or 5 years, and the administration inherited.
Okay, so just to be clear, stockpiles were depleted, and they are depleted. He's saying we have depleted stockpiles. That's not our fault, though. It's because of the people before. Now we still have depleted stockpiles, but it's just not our fault.
The Secretary Hegseth, inherited a depleted situation from not only Ukraine, but also the ongoing fight with the Houthis under the Biden administration and a depleted military under the Biden administration. So they have decided, they're going...
Can somebody just explain, while this is going on, how Biden depleted the military? Good Lord, I covered that guy for 4 years. I kept saying, let's spend less on military. Why are we increasing? Every year they were just increasing the military budget. How did we deplete it while spending more money? How did that happen?
To new types of munitions, cheaper munitions, new technologies, but also with these new defense budgets, rebuilding our great military. However,
but you acknowledge
I want to be clear.
Do you acknowledge they're depleted at this moment?
I want to be crystal clear.
Do you acknowledge that they're depleted?
The U.S. military, and I've verified this everywhere.
By the way, he's also the UN, the ambassador to the UN. I don't know how much information he actually has here. He's an ambassador to the UN. He's not, and he used to be national security, but he sucked at his job, so they made him ambassador to the UN. I don't even know how much he knows. But what he is very good at is coming on and just talking about Joe Biden.
Which way has everything that it needs to conduct this campaign as effectively as it needs to be. And I have to tell you, the people.
A minute and 5 seconds, let's call it, of him talking about how our military was depleted and our stockpile was depleted, and now ending this by saying we have everything we need. This is how I know that this isn't a top issue for Democrats and why they're not campaigning on it. This is how I know that their internal polling tells them that they don't need to campaign on this, because this is a fucking layup. You just play this on a loop and be like, see how right here he says it's depleted, but then here they say they have everything that they need. And then you could just point to the funding that they've given the military and then be like, see, we don't need to spend more money on the military. That's how low on the totem pole this issue is for Democrats. This is why they're not pushing back on this. This is why they're not campaigning on this. I don't think it's something that's going to drive voters.
People that are leaking this nonsense deserve to be in jail.
Well,
people are leaking that our arms are depleted. He just confirmed that our arms are depleted, but those other people who leak that the arms are depleted should be in jail. I mean, that would just be the easiest attack ad you've ever made, right? Dems are failing. Israel has infiltrated. Israel infiltrated a long time ago. Dems are. I would say, though, if you want to say Dems are failing, I agree with that. But some aren't. Right? This is the first time ever in my lifetime that a single political party has overwhelmingly stood up to Israel. But I kind of agree with you. Israel has fractured the Democratic Party. Just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded. Looks like we're maybe a third of the way through the gift goal. That's what we rely on every single day to pay our bills. We don't get ad revenue. We don't very little ad revenue. We don't have sponsors. And so that's what we have to rely on, your generosity, in order to keep the show going. So if you can help out with the gift goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal are the preferred ways. And then over on TikTok, of course, you can gift. Sorry, TikTok, I'm not seeing the updated gift goals today, or gifts today. TikTok isn't showing me that. So if you are gifting, thank you so much. I'm sorry I can't acknowledge that. They're just I have no transparency on that today. Here is New York Times Chris, I think it's pronounced Kettle. And here's what we do know about Iran. Now, the United States is confirming that our munitions are depleted. Trump is ceasing the daily attacks. I think that's probably confirmation that we are running out of munitions, and that what we're doing to Iran isn't enough that we feel like we can continue doing that. Again, this is Chris Kettle, and using video and satellite images of Iranian strikes on U.S. bases, and satellite imagery of Iranian bases, it appears that what we're being told about Iran is incorrect, that they actually do have a lot of firepower left. You can listen to Hegseth all day and Trump all day saying we've completely obliterated their military, they don't have missiles anymore, but they keep, I guess, finding missiles. I don't know where they're finding all these missiles, but they're able to keep fighting back.
Incredible visual investigation of what has actually happened. Destruction at U.S. military bases in the region.
Such a good point. We need 1.5 trillion because Iran's our biggest threat. Hegseth, following Trump and Hegseth saying Iran war was decimated or we won 36 times. Yeah. We already won the war. Can we have 1.5 trillion more to fight this war? I thought you won it. That's typical of you fake news people. Amy said, Trump, hashtag taco, duh. Yeah.
What's happening. And with U.S. troops dying in recent days, and perhaps in part because of defenses on those bases being so severely compromised, your reporting is so central. So you got images that Iran had put out for propaganda purposes that you then went and verified what exactly is. So damage to structures at the U.S. Air Base in Jordan, which we're looking at right here, that as well as damage at Tower 22, which is a U.S. military outfit.
By the way, you know what the answer is? Somebody who said that, yeah, we destroyed their Navy and their military, yet they're fighting and taking our butts. Someone's lying. The truth is that what we did is we took out some of their equipment. We took out their Navy and we took out military equipment. But Iran's been preparing for this for decades. Iran didn't build out their military where it's all on one base and then they have to activate it. They have military capabilities built into mountains. They have facilities all over the place that nobody even is aware of. They've spread out their military They've spread out their munitions in a way that is really, really difficult for us to find. So when Trump and Hegseth say we destroyed their army, we destroyed their navy, what they mean is they took out some boats and they took out some equipment. That's what they actually mean. And they're using that claim to say that they decimated their that we've won, but obviously that's not true. Like literally, if you have an IQ over 3, you know that that's not true.
Outpost on the northern Jordanian border up by Syria, and damage to U.S. military, a tent in Erbil, Iraq, up in Iraqi Kurdistan. So what were you able to
big desert, big
learn
mountains. I mean, it's the terrain there. It's so easy to hide stuff.
This?
What we were able to learn from this is that Iran has a lot of firepower left. So they're able to conduct precision strikes. So if you look at the satellite images, you see that they're targeting specific radar sites, drone shelters, airplane hangars, and so on. So they can conduct precision strikes and inflicting very heavy damage. And of course, the most severe damage happened last week on Friday when several U.S. service members were killed.
In a terrible tragedy. By the way, I will note the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, did not answer the question.
We're awesome at blowing up decoys and bulldozers.
When he was asked yesterday if China was providing that targeting information. Obviously, we have reported that both China and Russia were helping provide much of that information early in the war. So
I think somebody asked about this earlier, like, why is it not a bigger story that China and Russia are helping Iran? I don't know why. I can only tell you why I'm not focused on it, because duh. Like, that's what we all thought the whole time. China and Iran have been, or China and Russia have been supporting Iran. It's not even remotely surprising to find out that they have been providing intelligence. In fact, I think it was last week when Hegseth, or the week before when Hegseth was testifying before Congress and asked about this, and he's like, oh, we have no evidence of that. And Trump's like, we have no evidence of that. That was the most patently, like, obviously false thing I've ever heard. Of course they're helping. He's like, oh, I talked to President Xi, and Xi said he's not helping them. Of course that's what President Xi said. Of course he said that. Why would he tell you the truth? He's not obligated to tell you the truth. We all know. They're helping Iran. Nobody should have been surprised by that. Roly Poly Bolo said this administration updated the official casualty number from the Iran war. They now say 14 have been killed because 4 of them didn't count because they happened during a ceasefire. Are you fucking kidding me? Did they really? Jesus Christ. I didn't know that.
You look at satellite images that you've been focused on the Iranian side of things.
I haven't seen that video, Julia. Send it to me.
You're seeing something pretty significant in Iran.
Yeah, this sort of dovetails with what we've just seen of damage on the U.S. side, which is we're seeing the Iranians actively rebuilding like busy bees. They're rebuilding missile silos. They're building infrastructure sites. And what's important, Aaron, is that the Iranians have so much underground too that much of what they're having to do in some areas is just reopen areas where Earth has just like shut off the tunnel. So it's like redigging, excavation, and what appears to be the case is a lot of the U.S. strikes are just not destroying those missile launchers. They're underground. The Shaheed's underground. Missiles themselves, cruise or ballistic, underground. That seems to be a strategy that has been successful for the Iranians so far.
Yeah, and I'll note, Seth, from your reporting and what we understand from reporting the New York Times did about the CIA, what 2/3.
I'm just seeing the story from The Guardian about Trump, about the Trump administration changing it from 18 to 14. It's so fucking stupid. How dumb do they think everybody is? Don't answer that. The answer is very dumb, is what they think.
Of the missile capacity was in place.
That's a good point too. Mark said they were donated U.S. Navy ships from the 50s. FYI, we donated those ships to Iran.
Those numbers, though, are now 6 to 8 weeks old. So who knows what has, even been added back on top of that. I mean, it's obviously unclear. Christoph, you were able to verify some of the, with video, some of what Iran was putting out, including a video that Iran had put out showing a strike on that airbase in Jordan. And so you say, we'll show this. What looked like to you that the explosion appeared to be prefabricated housing. So you were able to sort of match this up. So can you talk about that, how you were able to match up what we're actually seeing to confirm if it's real?
So it's a very unusual footage, right? And it's actually filmed probably by a U.S. soldier because it's inside the airbase. But what we are doing is we use this sort of footage as well as satellite imagery to match this up with each other, to match up buildings, to check the damage when it actually occurred. satellite imagery allows you to go back in time to make sure, like a week ago, this building was still standing. And that's how we verify, and that's how we can assess both the damage up close, but also on the whole base in this case.
Seth, how vulnerable are U.S. troops? I mean, when you think about in the early days of the
MAGA claims AI.
war, when virtually
Everything that's uncomfortable is AI.
THAAD missile defense system that the U.S. had in the region was taken out, except for maybe
Trump throat goat. Knock it off.
one. And now here we are seeing strikes like Christoph is going through on that air base in Jordan, where U.S. soldiers were killed in just the past few days. How vulnerable are U.S. sites? I mean, how much of that missile defense and radar and all of these things that they've been taking out, how much of it has even been repaired on the U.S. side?
Well, Aaron, there does appear to be some effort to repair some of what the U.S. has done. But I will tell you, I was in Europe last week looking at an update on the war in Ukraine. What is striking, that war's been going on for 4.5 years, is the Ukrainians have been targeted by missiles and drones for 4.5 years. They have their bases underground. They've got a range of both points.
They were ready for this. Cassandra said to help knock out the goal. Thank you. Guys, if we did a dollar train, we'd knock out that goal quick, fast, and in a hurry. And then we could get to Donald Trump's absolute disaster trying to do a stand-up comedy set. I'd like to get to that. I'm going to get real petty at the end of the show today. We'll keep talking about Iran for a while, but I'd like to end the show with me being petty and making fun of Donald Trump absolutely fucking bombing at the correspondents' dinner. Because I think that's important. This is only the second time he's gone to the correspondents' dinner. I think we need to all experience that together. It'll make us all feel better.
And area defense, so counter-drone capabilities. The U.S. should have been better prepared when this war started for these kinds of missiles, cruise ballistic missiles and drones. This was entirely predictable from what we've seen for 4.5 years in Ukraine and how to defend against it. So having like structures that are hittable and not underground is a major lesson from the war in Ukraine that was not moved over to the Persian Gulf right now.
You did this.
All right. Roly Poly said the largest overseas U.S. hospital had to suspend their labor and delivery services 1 month after the war started and is still suspended because the hospital is overrun with U.S. casualties. I hope, stop fucking if you're in the Middle East and you're relying on a U.S. hospital. Wrap it up. You're not gonna have anywhere to have a baby. I did not know that. That's crazy. Okay. Here is let me go here. This one, I'm going to be petty. There's not a lot of substance here. John Kennedy went on Face the Nation in front of his mantle in his best green tie to cheerlead and get Republicans excited about, hey, we should probably keep bombing Iran.
Look, here's what I think we ought to do. I think we ought to tighten the sanctions on the sale of Iranian oil. I think we ought to continue the blockade.
When you mean tighten the sanctions, Senator Kennedy, do you mean going back to where they were before Trump lightened the sanctions? Do you mean that money that they're getting right now because we've eased sanctions on them? Is that what you meant?
And starve them out. I think we ought to bomb Pickaxe Mountain and try to reach what's underneath it.
Why? How? The fuck? How would we need to bomb them out and then how we going to invade? How are we going to get that out?
I don't have enough information to know about continuing the attacks. The president likes the daily attacks. He believes that sometimes you have to kill a few chickens to scare the monkeys.
Excuse me, what? I know you guys have some different sayings in the South. I've lived in the South. One more time.
Sometimes you have to kill a few chickens to scare the monkeys.
Where the fuck do you live? What is this? Is there some place in the world where, like, when monkeys are overrunning your property, you kill a chicken and the monkey's like, oh, fuck, we got to get out of here? I know there's not monkeys in the South.
attacks. He believes that sometimes you have to kill a few chickens to scare the monkeys. That's not.
Yeah, maybe it's a racist trope. I don't know. I know that I remember when Conor McGregor, the rapist, which we should all call him that from now on, was fighting Habib. He called the Dagestani people chickens, which apparently is a real insult to the Dagestani people. That's like one of the worst things that you can call them is a chicken. But I've never heard that saying in my life before.
I don't think that's going to work with the Iranian leadership. These people are more than mildly insane. It's like dealing with Son of Sam or Charles Manson. But I don't think we'll.
What? What about dealing with Iran is similar to dealing with Charles Manson? What is the similarity? Candace, thank you for joining the $2 train. I like your drum too.
Ought to just cut and run. If we can stand the pain of the rising cost of energy, we need to stay the course. At least for a few more months. I also don't think.
Why? Thank you, Karen, for joining the $1 train.
I think we need to send in troops. That's my opinion for what it's worth.
All right, how are you gonna get that? How are you gonna get that shit out of Pickaxe Mountain if you don't send in troops? Now I'm even more confused by everything that he's saying. We got to bomb the mountain and then go get what's underneath, which is uranium. I don't know how we're gonna do that without ground invasion. That's again, this is how we know that this is not an important talking point for the election. If it was, Democrats would be out hammering them for this. All right. Let's go here to let's go to Mamdani. Mamdani caught a lot of heat because Mamdani always catches a lot of heat. A lot of people were for some reason, very upset that Mamdani called Netanyahu a war criminal. I don't even understand who got upset by that. I don't understand the people who were like, how dare you call Benjamin Netanyahu the war criminal, a war criminal? Of course he's a war criminal. Are there people still outside of Zionists who don't think that Netanyahu is a war criminal? Everybody knows Netanyahu is a war criminal. So now he's being criticized for criticizing or being criticized for telling the truth, and I'll let him take this.
Hi, Mayor. Going back to the topic earlier when it comes to the Prime Minister of Israel, I
He sounded more like Lindsey Graham. Yeah, Alicia.
understand that you're making it clear that you're criticizing a particular politician, not the ethnic group. But there have been growing concerns amongst elected officials, some of your allies, such as the Attorney General, Letitia James, about the fact that comments and rhetoric may be rising temperatures. Do you take those concerns to heart, and what is your plan?
They're hiding their chickens under the mountain. So,
to bring down those temperatures?
So I think, to your point, when I make criticisms of Prime Minister Netanyahu, they are criticisms of Prime Minister Netanyahu. And what I shared were not even, frankly, personal assessments, they were objective facts. And my responsibility as a New Yorker and as a mayor of this city is a responsibility to take care of each and every person who calls the city their home. And that is not based upon whether or not they agree with me, how they feel about me. My job is to...
He has completely broken the Zionists. Last week, I don't even remember what was the Jewish holiday that they celebrated last week? I'm not very familiar with Jewish holidays. I don't even know what the Jewish holiday was, but he put out a tweet that was like, basically like, shout out to everybody who's celebrating this holiday. And the Zionists, like, I saw Dave Portnoy got mad, Michael Rappaport, they're like, fuck you, you stupid bitch, you motherfucker, how dare you? It's like, bro, he just told you guys to enjoy your holiday. Like, he's completely broken the Zionists. They have no idea what to do with Mamdani. Here we have a free Palestine Muslim man who got a majority of the Jewish vote in New York City, and they're desperately trying to paint him as anti-Semitic, and he keeps not doing anti-Semitic things. And so they just keep getting progressively more and more hysterical and incoherent. Every single day, they're just like, no matter what he does, like they're going to figure out something here. Is that Kel? Kel is anti-Semitic. Therefore, they cannot deal with him. He's too good at this. Tisha B'Av, which mourns the destruction of the holy temples. Okay, thank you. Is that how you say it? Tisha B'Av? I'm sorry if I'm fucking that up. Sorry for our Jewish friends. I don't care much about holidays in general, so please don't take offense.
Make sure that they are safe, that they are thriving, and they continue to call this city home. And that's always going to be my North Star on how we can do that. Because this is an incredible city, and it's a city where everyone needs to know that their belonging to it is not conditional on how they feel about the mayor.
And is there
All right. Good answer. He's going to continue to just break Zionists' brains over and over and over again. All right. Last thing here, and then we'll get to Trump's failed stand-up special. This was Ben Rhodes from Dropsite News talking to Peter Beinart, specifically about Biden officials. And this is where we have like this divide by Democrats. When people say we're divided, this is what we're talking about. I don't know how you could be a member of the Biden administration and look back on the years that you spent and say, like, we didn't fuck up at all in Palestine. We didn't fuck up at all in Gaza. But so many of them are having an impossible time. Chris Van Hollen, who I generally like, was on, I think he was on with Fox News, and they asked him, like, do you think Biden handled things right? Is there anything he did in Gaza that you would do differently? And he said no. I thought, how the fuck can you, like, with hindsight, how the fuck can you look back at how the Biden administration handled Gaza and say, like, I would do nothing different? I would like to see a more extended answer from Van Hollen, who, again, generally I like. I don't know where he's at with AIPAC. He might have get AIPAC money. I'm not sure, but I was just surprised by that. Kayla said the chicken money thing is a Chinese idiom. If you look it up, it will explain. It's nothing racist. We had a friend look it up on Moni's chat. Just wanted to pass the info. Okay, thank you, Kayla. Jen, will you look that up?
Do you think that the folks that, who were in prominent positions in the Biden administration haven't done what you're suggesting, and basically just say like a complete mea culpa? I mean, is it my sense? And
thank you, Jessica, for the $20 over on Cash App, and said fuck Donald Trump. Worth it.
These folks a lot closer than I do. Is partly they just feel like, they'll basically just put, no matter what they say, they'll just be basically just people will take the opportunity to beat the shit out of them. Or maybe they feel that if they admit that they were this wrong on something this catastrophic and immoral, that itself makes the case that they should never hold office again. So they're basically they're conceding that they should go into a different line of work. Or maybe it's sometimes I wonder, maybe it's because they feel like their former colleagues would be upset at them, because if you say because you're not only implicating yourself, you're implicating everybody else, including the people who your bosses. Because I agree with.
This is one of those things that I think we're going to have to grapple with. There's a lot of us that recognize that the United States has been historically complicit in war crimes. We're also facing a difficult reality that the fact that it has been every administration of our lives that have been complicit in war crimes means that every administration and all establishment figures in every party have a reason to not admit that they committed war crimes. I don't honestly really know where we go from here. I understand, on principle, I think most of us would say everybody who has committed a war crime, everybody who is involved in committing war crimes, should be sent before a tribunal, and they should have to face the accusations. I also don't think that's going to happen, and that leaves us in the limbo that we've been in my entire life, where we have just become a country who has to accept that we will do war crimes. We will consistently do war crimes, and nobody will ever be held accountable. I honestly don't know if I have a solution for that. I think the only likely way for any of this to play out, and again, I think it's wrong, but I think the only way that it plays out is to say, we are, we have a history of committing war crimes. We're going to change our laws now. We're going to change the way that we do business in the United States. We will no longer commit war crimes. But I don't think anybody who's committed war crimes is ever going to be charged for them. And I don't think that I think that if we try and go down that route, I think it gets us nowhere. There's just not enough people, and there's too much power that's concentrated and consolidated in Washington that they'll just continue to keep these things secrets from us. It's a really like shitty position, especially when you want to hold principles of we should not commit war crimes. Of like, what do we do here?
This limited, like,
I have a solution.
We could have done a little more. I mean, to me, it doesn't get you anywhere. So help me understand why you think we haven't seen what you're suggesting.
I will say, as someone like, who had to go through my own process, there are things in the Obama years that I regret.
William, I'll get to your question here in a second. Jacob said, I want to watch Trump bomb. We'll get there.
I think we did wrong. And I think in my early years, I was always willing to be critical of certain things, including our relationship with Israel. But it took me like a couple of years to realize that
Again, this is Peter Beinart, former Biden official.
Thing I had to do was deeper than saying like, the war in Libya turned out to be the wrong thing, or
it was a rage bait. Thanks.
We shouldn't have done the Afghan surge, or I had to kind of reckon with what was wrong with American foreign policy, like deep, that essentially I was a part of operating machinery that was often inhumane, that was often.
It's Ben Rhodes, right? That's who it is.
Even if I believed I was well intentioned when I went to work.
Sorry. This is Ben Rhodes. The other guy's Peter Beinart, I think. I'm sorry. The other guy's Peter Beinart.
That I was participating in a supremacy that was baked in to the entire wiring of the machinery. Because to get to your question, I think there's different answers for different people. One, do not underestimate the extent to which some of those people are still in a feedback loop where they are actually told they did the right thing. Like they're not on our algorithm, right? So some people, they're going out to dinner with AIPAC people, or they're still friends with people at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, or I was just in Aspen at the Security Forum. There was no conversation about Gaza. It was, we'll just talk about Ukraine and how heroic we are in supporting the Ukrainians. So there's some people that actually can just live in a comfortable bubble where they're still reinforced that, yeah, maybe that went a lot out of hand, but like all in all, we're the good guys. Then there are people, there's a related piece of that there's still.
Does anybody think that all in all, we're the good, like take the last 30 or 40 years, just thumbs up if you think over the last 30 or 40 years, we're the good guy. Admitting that virtually every country involved in conflict commits war crimes. We can admit that. But like, I just don't understand the people that are still like, we're the good guys. I understood it at first. I understand post 9/11, not that it was justified, but I understand people's emotions. It's different now. Like now we do war crimes just like on a rumor. Like we don't need airplanes flying into buildings for us to go commit war crimes. We're just like, hey, Iran said they fucking hate us. We're like, they did? They said they hate us? Oh, and then we just blow them up.
Perception that you're going to be punished more for breaking with Israel than you will be validated for doing it. That, in other words,
thanks,
to
buddy,
be blunt,
for joining
the
Dollar
power
Train.
structure is still such that, you know what? Like, even if, these leftists are winning primaries in New York, the center of gravity in this political party is still going to be one that wants to maintain this relationship with Israel. And I have more to lose by breaking than not. And I can get criticized online, and that stinks, and I'm socially uncomfortable.
I'm pretty sure most haven't watched the video here on YouTube of October 7th. We've all seen the video on October 7th. I think that's where you stopped watching. I think you're admitting that that's what, like, Mark, you just stopped watching then. I saw a bad thing, and now I don't watch the bad things. Like, since then, everybody universally condemned October 7th. Since then, it's just been a genocide.
With certain people, but actually my career benefits from not making this step, right? Yeah. And then I think there's a bit of a psychology that I can never make the quote unquote left happy on this issue. Sure. So, just look what's happened.
Yeah, people should stop worrying about that. One thing I know for a fucking fact, being on the left and being a content creator on the left, you will never make the left happy, and that's okay. And that is a feature, not a fucking bug. I've learned that. If I ever get to a point where the audience is here every day agreeing with everything I said, fuck, we're a cult. That is a feature. The fact that Democrats are never fucking happy with their politicians is a feature. It's something that I'm proud of. It's one thing I like about Democrats. They fucking find problems all over the place. It's what we do. We try and solve problems.
When I, try to admit I did something wrong, it's never enough for those people, but it pisses off these people. So if I'm going to make everybody...
Why are you okay never being happy? No. People are happy. We're not happy with our politicians. We spend no time dick riding our politicians. You spend all of your time dick riding your politicians. And sometimes while you're dick riding the politicians in between prostate engaged orgasms, you'll sometimes point over the Democrats and be like, fuck those guys. But we just don't do that. We're not dick riding our politicians. So are we going to waste any time being like, good job, guys? No, fuck no. That's what their job is. That's what their job is. They're supposed to go and do good things. So when they do good things, great, we'll vote for you again. When they do bad things, we're like, hey, fuck you. Don't do bad things. Not you guys. You're like, everything you do is perfect no matter what. We will continue to mount that dick and ride it.
Angry, I might as well just not reckon with this. That's another piece of this psychology. But then I think to your point, and this gets to where I started with me, there's a deeper element of it's hard to acknowledge that you were, I've had to, it's been very hard for me to reckon with the extent of killing I was involved in. Even as someone who was not in the military chain of command, I was more of a communications and strategy person. But
one thing I said that you didn't like was I had a girlfriend. Sorry about that. She'll probably dump me at some point. She'll figure it out.
Drones and wars that I was a part of. I can't imagine the scale of it being a genocide where all the weapons are provided by a process I was a part of. And I think psychologically, going there might just feel like too much weight for some people. I do believe if somebody does it, it kind of creates an opening for others to do it. And I've yet to see anybody do it. And so the last point, there's a lot, Joe Biden would be mad at me. There's human dynamics here, but
I've never worried about Joe Biden being mad at me. Not once. Stephanie, thank you for joining the Dollar Train.
I don't have a lot of patience for it, Peter, because, as you pointed out to me once when I said to you, I did one of these and I got a lot of grief from people and I was like, oh, this sucks. Because it was when I was kind of going through my own, here's how decisions got made. And you said, well, imagine being how gaslit do you think the Palestinians are? That I've kept that in my mind ever since. It's I'm sorry, these people, it's uncomfortable for them to face up to the genocide they're a part of, but I'm actually not sorry relative to the harm that was done and could be done in the future. So I think people's feet do need to be held to the fire.
There we go. Got to figure that out. I do think just sometimes we're so afraid of losing elections that we don't hold our own people's feet to the fire. And when it comes to stuff like committing war crimes, and we look at the polling, it doesn't really affect elections. So even if that is your fear, I don't think we should hesitate to criticize people on our side of the aisle for being complicit in war crimes. It doesn't seem to hurt elections at all. In fact, recent history tells us, with Trump getting elected, that running on stuff like that is beneficial. Running on we should stop doing these wars, running on we should stop doing war crimes, is something that the American people want to hear. Now, of course, Donald Trump was lying, and of course, he didn't follow through on any of that. But it doesn't. I don't think it hurts you. And I think sometimes we're just far too afraid of what the reaction is going to be at the ballot box. And so sometimes we are careful not to criticize. When it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to unwinnable wars, when it comes to regime change wars, the only consequence of consistently speaking out about that seems to be putting pressure on your candidates to also say that, which in turn helps them win elections. So I'm a big fan of that. How about the many genocides occurring across Africa among governments supported by your Democrat policies? Which ones? Which ones? The Democrats that aren't in power? We've talked about a few of them. When we fund genocides, I'm against it. If the United States is funding armies who are committing genocides, we're against it. Shouldn't be that hard. All right, let's get to Trump bombing. Let me read some comments real quick. Thank you, buddy, for joining the Dollar Train. All right, guys, I'm going to do this. We're going to be petty. We're going to leave the news and we're just going to watch Donald Trump bomb. It's like 23 minutes. And I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. In the meantime, there's like 150-ish left in the gift goal. If you guys could help us knock that out. Again, there's like 1,000 people between all the platforms here. If we did a dollar train, a tenth of you did the dollar train. We would knock that gift goal out completely. If you're able to donate, that would be greatly appreciated. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, or Super Chats. The pay apps are our preferred way because they take less of a percentage. But if Super Chat's the only way to go, do that. I'll read anything that you write. But let me find this. This is it's an extended cut. I don't think it's everything he said because I think he went on for like 40 minutes, and this is 27 minutes. But I think he had one joke that was funny. I've never seen anybody bomb like this in my entire life. This is for anybody who doesn't know what the White House Correspondents' Dinner is, this is not a campaign speech. This is a stand-up comedy routine, and somebody wrote it. Not Trump. Trump didn't even write this. This isn't off the cuff. Somebody wrote this. They worked on this. Now, remember, they were planning on doing this a while ago, like a couple months ago, and then we had that shooter who we've never heard about again. And they had to cancel the Correspondents' Dinner, and now here they are. So not only did they have time to write it before, they've had months to go through, and maybe a month, let's call it a month, to go through and make sure that it was funny. What you're about to see is 27 minutes and the effects of what happens when you're in a cult and nobody can push back against the cult leader. You become people that only think things are funny when he thinks they're funny. And he's not very funny. Comedy is apparently illegal again. We might want to outlaw it after this, honestly. We may want to shut down comedy for a while because this didn't go well. Lindsey, thank you for the Antifa dues. Kelly as well, thank you for the Antifa dues. I appreciate that. Remember to get your Antifa dues in. It's almost the end of the month. Potluck is coming up on the 5th of the next month, and it's, as always, BYOB, and it'll be at Antifa headquarters. If you don't know where that is, join the Discord. We'll get you directions to Antifa headquarters. Here's Trump bombing.
I want to personally congratulate CNN's Caitlin Collins on receiving her award. It was all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake, but I didn't mind. I said, Caitlin, congratulations. But
Trump can't do stand-up or stand-up at all as of late.
It was fake. There's no question about it. But she's a young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, Caitlin, do you ever smile?
Oh, that's right. I'm so sorry. The Venmo question. Thank you so much for reminding me there. Let me go up. What's your take on instituting recall elections for senators, possibly on every 2-year election ballots, but they have a should they stay vote and a special election if the majority people voted to take them out? I actually really kind of fucking love that. Yeah. Like give them a 6-year term, but every 2 years you can do a recall election that's like automatically populated. Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't think that would ever pass, but I kind of like that idea.
Smile. You have a nice position. You're at CNN Fake News.
It's Trump's economy.
You should be a happy
Thanks, Tim.
person. So smile, Caitlin. Just smile. But
what a good joke. Hear all the laughter.
We attack, and I thought Caitlin had really made it big with a major new sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can. It was Dylan Mulvaney.
They read these jokes in front of Trump. Everybody was staring at Trump. He laughed, so they laughed because they're not allowed to have an opinion of their own. They have forgotten their entire identities, and they thought this was going to kill. Yeah, Gutfeld might have written them. That's such a bad joke. It's not even a good Dylan Mulvaney joke. It's one of the worst Dylan Mulvaney jokes I've ever heard.
And Dylan Mulvaney cost Bud Light $35 billion in market cap. That was the worst commercial ever made, by the way, for those few people that want to hear that.
It also wasn't a commercial. There was no commercial.
Most people don't care, but I would. I wouldn't want to hire Dylan anytime soon. Think of it. They hired Dylan Mulvaney, and their market cap has gone down by $35 billion. Who wrote that commercial? And then you have right.
Nobody, because it wasn't a commercial, and that market cap recovered entirely.
Writer Josh Dorsey. He also received. He's been killing me for years.
Thanks,
No,
Denise, for the Antifa dues.
and yet tonight he shakes my hand. He hugs me. Everything nice. He kills me. Josh is amazing. He writes more stories than any human being. There's nobody that writes more than Josh. He'll write 4 stories about me a day, all different subjects. I mean, I had the other day 3 stories and one on the, he was upset about this. 1 was on page 7, 3 were on page 1. They were all written by Josh. But he's
These aren't jokes. None of this is a stand-up.
hit the big time, and he's a workhorse, and yet he's almost unhirable. You know, he's just one of these guys. Wall Street Journal's lucky to have him.
He's a man with a job who's winning awards, and he's unhirable. 3 of his 4 stories were on the front page. You can't hire this man.
But you really, it's unbelievable. He's almost unhirable. CNN is also here, and I'm very disappointed they didn't bring Fake Tapper because he's had a rough couple of years, Fake has. You know, he calls me up every once in a while. If I pick it up, I pick up my phone. I used to go to this young lady. I'd say, any calls from the press? No, sir. I said, oh, now I'm the president of the United States, right? I'd say to Stephen Chung, is Stephen here someplace? Where's Stephen? He's one of the toughest human beings I've ever met. Don't ever wrestle Stephen. You'll be in big trouble. But I say, Stephen.
If you do wrestle Stephen, I think his cardio is going to check out about 15 seconds in.
Let me ask you, did the press call? No, sir. You know, when I was a developer, I'd get a call every half an hour. For whatever reason, I always got disproportionate press. So I said, Stephen.
That's Stephen Chung right there.
Nobody called? No, sir. 2 hours later, I say, hi, Steve, how are we doing? Everything good? Anybody call? No, sir, no press calls. I say, I'm president. Nope, they never call. So this went on for about a week. I'd say, Caroline, did the press call? No, sir, no calls. I said, nothing.
I don't think this is true, but if it is true, I think this is supposed to be a setup to a joke. It's sad. Can you imagine this bloated dipshit just coming out of the office every once in a while? Did anybody call for me? No, nobody called. Did anybody call for me? No, nobody called. I want somebody to call for me. Amy said Anheuser-Busch stock moved from roughly 53.54 in July of 2022 to trading at 80.84 by July 2026. Yeah, they're fine.
That's over a week. I haven't received a call. So I said, you know what I'll do? I'm going to give the press my phone number. That was the stupidest thing I ever did.
Okay. I've told you guys this before, but this is the sign
For about a week.
of people.
Say, Caroline,
it's not just cults. This happens all the time. But when you watch Trump, who is not funny, by the way, and you watch the religious leaders I grew up with, people will laugh at stuff that isn't even a joke. And then they will look across the room to see who else is laughing. None of these are jokes. But she's so far in the cult, she's laughing and looking. Is anybody else laughing? The only people laughing right now are people who just love him.
Did the press call? No, sir, no calls. I said, nothing. It's over a week. I haven't received a call. So I said, you know what I'll do? I'm going to give the press my phone number. That was the stupidest thing I ever did. I'm getting a call every 3.7 minutes. Stephen, I don't know where the hell you've been, but the press calls, I'm getting calls, ring, ring. I was with somebody today. They said, I've never heard a phone ring as much. It's fresh. Now, I look at the thing and usually just...
Fresh? What? These are supposed to be jokes. He's doing a stand-up routine. Brendan Schaub's going to steal some of these jokes, but outside of that, every stand-up comedian is wondering what the fuck is happening.
Delete. Every once in a while, it'll be one of the people in this room that I like, and I'll pick it up. Like this one right here calls me on occasion, right? She'll call me and she says, hello, sir. How are you? We want to talk about some horrible subject, like a horrible depressing
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
subject. I say, Jackie, I don't want to talk about it. Congratulations, however, on your new marriage. But I don't want to talk about it. But it's true. And
that's the joke. Sometimes she calls and wants to talk about things, and I'm like, no, but congrats on your marriage. A joke.
People call me now. And
there's a fucking teleprompter right there. You could be reading that.
And so for weeks I go, no calls. And I learned then that both of them, they feel that I'm doing a great job, and they feel I'm above it all, and that no person, hundreds of people call no person, is good enough to talk to Trump. And so we don't even bother telling you. That's not the way it works, Caroline. You have to let me know, because sometimes I do like to speak to the press. But now I have the best system I've ever had.
What is this? They were keeping the calls from him. Oh, it's Peter Ducey's wife? Okay. They were keeping calls from him. They said, nobody's good enough to talk to you, sir. No, they didn't want you talking to anybody.
It rings, and just so you understand, you're much better at putting your name, because if there's no name, I just can't do that. You know, I pick up every once in a while. Hello, I'm from Reno, Nevada. We're a startup paper. We're calling us the Reno Express. I said, do you believe I'm the president of the United States? Mr. President, could I have your views on Iran? And I just hang up. No, I get the craziest calls. I mean, some of them. My wife said, I can't believe you do this. This is
bullshit. She wasn't there. She doesn't talk to you. You fucking liar. She didn't say any of that.
a hell of a way to live. But sometimes they get calls from very important. Sometimes I can straighten out stories that are going to be fake, and I can make them from a fake story to a good story. I always find that when you don't speak to the press, you always get a bad story. When you do speak to the press, you have a shot at getting a good story. Oh, look. Look, if I were a reporter.
The one time he gets applause, the press is like, yeah, dude. Yeah, don't run from us. That's the biggest applause he gets.
And let's say I'm a big reporter. I work for the failing New York Times, or I work for, well, I don't know, do they ever come to these dinners? Didn't they cancel out a long time ago? Big mistake. They should be here. But I get a call. I've always found that, you know.
Hoopy says it's Hoopy. Love you guys. Thanks, Hoopy. Amy, thank you for the dollar train for the week. Appreciate it. Guys, if you want to help us knock out that dollar or that gift code by the end of the live, that'd be greatly appreciated. We got about an hour left, 50 minutes left. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal's we go. Way to go. If you're just joining us, we're watching Donald Trump bomb for 27 straight minutes. I was going to play clips, but goddamn, I fucking hate this guy, and I think we all need to just watch it the whole time.
Speaking to them, you just do better. You do better when you can, when you have the time. You speak to the reporter. You treat the reporter with respect. Sometimes now there are reporters where it doesn't matter. You can be so nice to them, it doesn't matter. You get treated unfairly. But you have a lot of great reporters where when you speak to them, you can get your point across, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But some people say that Jake Tapper is a great investigative reporter in D.C., and that's why after moderating our debate, it only...
I know, he does sound weird, common sense, but he is the president. I don't blame you for leaving. This is a bad set.
Took him 1 year to break the story that Joe Biden might possibly have suffered from cognitive decline. Took him 1 year. He wrote a book about how great he was mentally, not too good. And I don't like Biden because Biden was very unfair to a lot of people. But Jill Biden insists that Joe would have beaten me in 2024, even though he was way down. She said he was way behind in the polls because he was seriously ahead. She felt he was going to win because he was seriously ahead on deceased voters. He was leading in the deceased crowd, and there were a lot of them.
I think it was a joke. The thing is, I'm not sure if he's joking about that. He keeps saying things that are jokes, and then at the end he's like, no, but seriously, that's all true. That's a real thing that was happening. Joe Biden was leading the polls. The polls, which are when people call you on the phone and ask who you're voting for. And dead people were answering the phones and saying who they were voting for. And Joe Biden was leading in dead people answering the phones and saying who they were going to vote for. There's a real thing that the president of the United States just said. And it's not a joke. He really believes this.
Finding out there's a lot of them. Look at the numbers that just came out yesterday. And it's traditional that at least one or two potential presidential hopefuls attend the correspondence dinner, but many of them seem to have really chickened out. I was disappointed that Gavin Newsom didn't show up. He didn't show up. He should be here. But I heard that he recently said that we will lose our country if we don't fight fire with fire. And to be fair, there's only one thing we know about Gavin, and that's that he definitely doesn't want to fight fire with water. He's got a lot of water, never uses. What a disaster. That should...
Is he... that one had a shot. That joke had a shot. You got to let it breathe, though, Donnie. You stop it. He won't fight fire with water, and then you wait for applause. Don't keep explaining it. That one had a shot. I wouldn't have laughed, but some people would have laughed at that. He didn't even give it a chance for people to laugh. He just had to explain it because he's an old, senile, crazy fuck. Just a clarification. Dolphin said, CNN said after most of the comedians were Dems, they had said, we don't want to work with him. I'm sure no comedians wanted to work with him.
It never happened. But Gavin Newsom recently did a career-threatening, one of the worst interviews I've ever seen, where he said that he can't read a speech. He's incapable of reading a speech. He's a low IQ person. He's smarter, however, than all of the people in the room. And then he gets sued for being a racist, okay, when he said it.
What? He's a low IQ person. He's smarter than everybody in the room, but then he gets sued for being a racist. Anybody want to explain that? What was that?
But he basically said he has various mental incapacities. He has
No, he said dyslexia. He just said dyslexia. I know that's a big word, big fella, but he just has dyslexia.
Difficulty in various,
which I believe is like the most common learning disorder for kids, right? I think it's dyslexia. I think that's the most common.
other ailments mentally. And I'm looking at it saying, this is the worst interview. I'm watching this interview. I said, this is the worst interview I've ever seen given by a professional politician. I've been watching politicians for a long time.
Also, maybe our president stops watching so many fucking interviews.
Mostly on the previous side, because I haven't been doing this too long. How am I doing? Not bad for the number of minutes spent. Not bad. But with Gavin, so he said that all these things, and I said, anybody running against him, all they have to do is take that one interview and you can't lose. I actually put out a...
We can't figure out what the fuck interview you're talking about, bud. Apparently in the interview, he said, I'm smarter than all of you in the room, even though I have various mental conditions. And then he got sued for racism. Somebody put that into Chat GPT. Find me the interview where Gavin Newsom says, I'm smarter than everybody in the room, but also I have various mental conditions, and then I got sued for racism. How would you even find this interview?
That Gavin Newsom has come out and said he will not be running for president because nobody can say what he said about himself and survive. Newsom was in big trouble when he openly admitted that Kamala
honestly,
was smarter.
What the fuck is he talking
him.
about?
She said Kamala is smarter. If Kamala,
which is worse, this or Gringo Poppy? I would watch Gringo Poppy a million times. Like, if you gave me two choices, this or Gringo Poppy, the rest of my life, I might watch Gringo Poppy. At least I laughed at Brendan Schaub like failing. He's so bad that like he doesn't even give the audience a chance to make you feel like he's bombing. There has been no laughter. None. He hasn't landed a single joke.
Kamala is smarter than someone. You don't want that person to be president of the United States of America. Between California's policies of enabling wildfires, paying drug addicts to be homeless, giving free sex changes to illegals.
The noted policies of California of enabling wildfires, paying drug addicts to be homeless, and giving free sex changes to illegal immigrants. Jesus Christ. That's our president. You guys voted for him. Some of you would vote for him again in 2028.
And telling rich people they're going to take away, all of your money is going to be taken away. People are fleeing, and they're fleeing in droves. We can't have that in this country.
No, we cannot. It's also not happening. Nobody's telling rich people they're taking all their money.
Becoming such a horrible and dangerous location that Ilhan Omar, one of my favorites, and her brother are thinking about moving together, very much in love. The video has surfaced recently of Ilhan giving a speech referring to...
As he's reading this. He's currently reading this off of a teleprompter.
World War II is World War XI. And they asked her about that. She still thought she got it right. But I'm not surprised because she's a low...
Is that a real thing? Did she say World War XI? That's pretty embarrassing if she did that, but...
cute person. And she's...
Was she ramming the ramparts with her planes during the Revolutionary War?
She's also a very dishonest person, and she ought to get the hell out of our country. She shouldn't be here. She shouldn't be in our country. She also calls her brother husband number one. Omar is reportedly being investigated for fraud. She revised her net worth. I was shocked to see.
Reportedly? Shouldn't you know? You're the president. You control the DOJ. What do you mean reportedly?
That she was worth much more than $30 million. And then when the press got on her, she revised it slightly downward to less than 18,000. So she went from much more than 30 million to 18,000. And I know Democrats.
I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. I don't think there's ever a financial disclosure where she said her net worth was $30 million.
The word Democrat is something that's come into fashion. I changed the E with a U, and most people don't know that dumb has a B, so we don't have to worry about that.
Bro, my daughter is 6 and she knows. Everybody fucking knows that. You know what that tells you is that somebody recently told Donald Trump that dumb has a B in it. And he's like, what? They're like, yeah, dude, it has a B. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? A B? I got to tell the people. I got to tell the American people. They've been lying about this the whole time. Guys, you know there was a B in dumb? And everybody, like, these are shocked faces. They're not laughing because he's funny.
It's very quiet. I thought it was quite good, but I haven't gotten much credit for that. Fake news, good. Pocahontas, good. I won't say Lion Ted because he's on my side. I don't talk about past.
I said, did he say United States of American? Yeah, he did. He said a lot of dumb shit.
Conquests, but we have a lot of them. I won't talk about it. They got a whole table full of Republicans there. They're saying, no, don't mention my frickin' name, will you please? But we've had a lot of
none of them are saying that.
names. But the Democrats are there to destroy wealth, and honestly, they've gone absolutely crazy. Gavin Newsom's not only a man who
we're still on Newsom?
Wants to run for president, he's doing a bad job running a state. You can't have somebody like a J.B. Pritzker, who I understand is not president, sadly, but some people say, never use the fat word. And I don't. I would never call anybody fat. I have my own problems. It's not like
you're a fucking idiot, just like there wasn't no fraud in the 2020 election, right? Yeah, dude. It's good to have you here.
I'm perfect. Sir, in the back, don't call him a fat pig, okay? I'm sticking up for him. Don't call him you. You can't do that, sir. You can't call J.B. Pritzker a fat pig. Please. All right? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Everyone's trying to figure out who is that guy? Does he exist? But the nice part is when you do that, the press can't get you because I'm defending a man who obviously has a problem. Actually, he's lost a lot of weight. I saw him recently. He lost quite a bit of weight. I don't know what the hell. He's got no chance, believe me. Anything he does, the family threw him out of the business.
He has explained every single joke. It is a little sad, right? Like, he's sundowning. You could legitimately hear how many people laughed at that last joke, and it was 2. You could distinguish the 2 laughs. I'm gonna guess Stephen Chung and I don't know, Stephen Miller. You could hear 2 distinct laughs. Because when a lot of people laugh, you can't hear all the laughs, right? They just kind of mix together. Nope, there were 2. Yeah, it might be elder abuse. Like right now, I might be doing the wrong thing. Well, I might look back on this years from now and be like, you know what? We should have taken it easy on him. He'd clearly lost his mind at this point. Jen said, dumb best president ever. You got the B in there. Jen Starr just also realized there was a B in dumb as well. Thank you for teaching us that, Donald. What would America do if we didn't know there was a B in dumb?
Potential Democrat contender sadly refused to show up tonight. We invited Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. She's referred to Pocahontas because, in fact,
referred to as Pocahontas. 0 laughs there.
I had to apologize. People came up and they said, we want you to apologize to Elizabeth Warren for calling her Pocahontas. And I ended up apologizing to the real Pocahontas. But Elizabeth Warren was supposedly of Indian heritage. And then she took the test, and she only had 1,024th Native American. And I said, you know what? I think I'm more of an Indian than she is. So this is what we have to deal with. But Senator Warren did not accept our invitation to debate. I wanted to debate her on various and sundry things, and she decided not to do it. And I decided to bury the hatchet.
Look at this room. Look at this person right here. Half the room is staring at their phones. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That guy's turned around backwards. 11, 12 backwards. 12, 13, 14, 15, 6. Nobody's laughing. Half the room is just like, what in the fuck? I'd live for this shot right here.
Matter. And she, well, I'm not going to say this next one. You want to hear this one? How bad? She wasn't high up on her totem pole. Who the hell wrote that? No, she's bad news. I wanted to make sure.
Trying to find where the laughter's coming from. It's got to be one of these. This has got to be like a Trump tape. There's Ducey.
The Jack Smith, deranged Jack Smith. Remember, he went after me for about 2 years. How did he do? Not too good. I'm in the White House, and he's not doing
It looks like a funeral. Well, they're currently killing comedy, so it might as well be a funeral. Which is crazy because Elon said it was legal again, and nope.
well. I was going to say he's in a different kind of a house, but he's a deranged human being. He's a bad
Thank you,
prosecutor.
Vicky. Vicky said keep up the good work.
You know, prosecutors are very important. A great prosecutor, a fair prosecutor, but that's the great prosecutors, the ones that are fair. They're very important to a country, but this guy was a deranged lunatic. Saw his invitation tonight. He was invited because, you know, but I put it in a private text to Chuck Grassley. And Chuck saw him, and he did a certain thing. And then one man that we had who should.
What did Chuck do? Is that a joke? Does anybody know what? I text his invitation to Chuck Grassley. Chuck Grassley did a certain thing. What are we doing here? MAGA, you have to stay. I hope is MAGA here? Are you watching this? Joe Biden was cognitively impaired? Yes. It's a problem.
Be here. He turned Palestinian. This was a man who was 100% for Israel. 100%.
Israel. Who are we still on Jack Smith?
Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck. Remember he cried at the airport over.
To be fair, you need to be a high IQ to enjoy Trump stand-up. No, you need to be high, and I am, and I'm not.
Illegal immigrants. They were the fakest tears. There were people throwing water in his face. But now he's a proud, very proud Palestinian. In fact, I'm going to send him a beautiful Palestinian outfit tomorrow. So
this guy. Whoever this is all of us. What the fuck? Yeah, Chuck Schumer's a Palestinian.
Greet Bibi Netanyahu when he comes to town next week, along with the mayor, who I'm sure would love to meet Bibi. They're not treating Bibi too well, but Chuck wanted to join us tonight, but he didn't want to be violating many parts of the Palestinian rules, regulations, and certainly he didn't want to violate Sharia law, his new founding. And all joking aside.
Brother, you haven't done any joking. What is he talking about?
I do think we need term limits in Congress. I think term limits are very important because I see what's happening. The other day, a senator I knew got a text, a great guy, from his wife.
Listen, I promise you're not ready. If you haven't heard this joke, and trigger warning, if an obvious joke, bombing, makes you uncomfortable, you're going to want to take a break. You don't, I promise you're not ready for how bad this bombs.
The other day, a senator I knew got a text, a great guy, from his wife. And she said, when you get home, I want to have you immediately come up the stairs and make love to me. And he said, I can't do both. You know what? In other words, can't go up the stairs and make love. Does anybody get that? Well, I thought that was actually pretty good. That was actually the only thing I thought was good in this whole freaking stupid speech that they wrote. That was
That's
the
his
only
best.
good one.
Yeah, he got real laughter. He finally did it. He got real laughter when he's like, I actually thought that was funny.
And that went down with not exactly great laughter. I think, in other words, you can't go up the stairs and make love, too, So we're looking
Actually, it's more that you can't go up the stairs and come, I think, is what it was.
for term limits. Does anybody understand this stuff? But I really do wonder
The only
what...
laughter he's gotten was while it was people mocking him for bombing. That's pretty on brand. LCD Tile Works said, I give more, but I haven't got my Doge check yet. Yeah, I hear you. That sucks. Hope it comes in soon.
Whether the Democrats are trying to lose the midterms. In Maine, they nominated a guy with a Nazi tattoo. But don't worry, Democrats. Word is that Plattner's replacement, he throws bottles at women. This guy throws bottles. This guy's another lunatic, by the way. Although I think Plattner might have done surprisingly well because we're in the age of Trump. Let's call it.
You're saying that people overlook sexual assault in the age of Trump? Is that the quiet part out loud? Plattner would have done well because we're in the age of Trump. The thing that you just said about Plattner is that he had a Nazi tattoo and would have done well because we're in the age of Trump where Nazis do well. All right.
What you want. People can do well today. Plattner, I don't know. But, people don't have the guts to stick it out. But it looked like he was guilty of a lot of stuff. He certainly didn't defend himself very well. In Texas, the Democrats are running a candidate named James Telefrico, who hates guns, hates oil, hates sex, hates women.
Hates sex. What the fuck are we talking about?
And who said he is, quote, a Christian who hates Christianity. Other than that, I think his platform is quite good. And that means that he's not going to do very well against Ken Paxton, who hopefully in Texas is going to win.
Stacey said, I thought you loved us. This is physically painful to watch. We've far surpassed idiocracy at this point. If I got to watch it, you do. You guys chose this, though. And big W for Dana on Venmo sent $50. Said, thanks for all the work and a great show most days when Jay shows up. That's fair. It's a fair criticism.
But Telefrico, he's Alfred. You know what he looks like to me? Alfred E. Newman. Do you remember Alfred E. Newman, Mad Magazine? I said, that guy is Alfred E. Newman. Can't imagine he'd win. Well, I have all of the press here in one place. I have to say that we're having an amazing load of accomplishments that the media never talks about. For example, under my administration, a once feared and powerful regime that relentlessly attacked America has finally been toppled. Their former leaders have been removed, and they're now being run by a gay dictator facing internal divisions. But I, for one, wish...
Is he talking about Iran? Is he talking about Iran? Bro, what the fuck? That's actually probably his best joke. I think that's his best joke so far, honestly. Honestly, it's his best one. So I said, I think we're going to have books and documentaries and recordings from MAGA admins like Caroline in the future on how much they hated Trump to profit. How much they hated Trump to profit. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Sorry.
Barry Weiss, all the best at CBS News.
Yeah, I think the new Ayatollah is accused of being gay, right? That's what he's talking about? I'm pretty sure. Isn't there like some rumor that he's gay? I think that's what he's saying.
She's a wonderful woman. Most of the press.
Oh, there was laughter.
All
What's
the
that?
best at CBS News. She's a wonderful woman.
Oh, no, they're laughing at
Their former leaders have been removed, and they're now being run by a gay dictator facing internal divisions. But I, for one, wish Barry Weiss all the best at CBS News. She's a wonderful woman. Most of the press lives here in Washington, D.C., and you should be thankful for me for what my administration and I have done to make our nation's capital, which was one of the most dangerous and unsafe cities anywhere in the world.
This is not true.
One of the safest cities in the United States. Crime is down 88%, and our capital is shining again with 62 monuments, statues, water fountains looking more beautiful. The graffiti's all gone. The tents are all moved out of the parks. The fences are all done. Our capital looks like it's really in good shape.
Oh, in order to distance themselves. Okay, I see. Yeah, I do think that, Ty. We have books from people in the administration in order to distance themselves. So they're going to say like they hated Trump, so they distance themselves and make profit. I get you now. Yeah, 100%. People in this chat, like the people that love Trump in this chat, when he dies and when everything comes out, yeah, they'll all say the same thing. Yeah, I liked him at first, but then I didn't. They're all going to lie about this.
And people coming here, people in the White House, they work in the White House, they all say, young women, young guys walk up. They say, thank you, sir. 2 years ago, we lived in a dangerous city. We lived
There's no shot.
in a city where 150 people were killed a year. And now we have almost a crime-free city. Our National Guard has done an incredible job, and we've removed over 5,000 career criminals. You know, we removed, there's one stat, I think it's a great stat.
Actually, D.C. did that. Trump didn't. If you understand the role of the federal government and the role of the D.C. police, you would understand that when he says we removed, what he really means is they did. He hasn't done anything. The federal government doesn't police Washington, D.C.
It's to me, it's fantastic. 2% of the people create 91% of the crime. That's something you can fix, and we fix it. We moved out over 5,000 career criminals out of Washington, D.C., and we have the greatest capital in the world. Again, it's beautiful, it's thriving, the restaurants are thriving. You couldn't get into a restaurant because they didn't have, all the restaurants were closing. And if you even got in,
if the restaurants were closing, you could get in because there were openings, right? Like if all the restaurants were failing, there would have been unlimited openings. This also isn't true. We fact checked this before. This just isn't true. There restaurants were struggling during COVID, and a bunch shut down, and they've just been slowly coming back.
Felt unsafe. People were getting into Ubers, and they were being attacked when they were in an Uber. It's not happening anymore. We have tough, smart people, and they have done a fantastic job. Washington, D.C. is safe again. You can't get into a restaurant. The restaurants are opening up. They're opening up all over the city. They can't get...
They said, I'll take the things, lies for 1,000, Alex.
It's the exact opposite. They can't get space. But mostly I've given up on you and the media so that now I just gave up on you, and I'm #1 on TikTok. Did you see that I'm #1, Stephen? Is that true? I'm #1 on...
Becky says, end the torture. Listening to him is painful.
TikTok.
Yeah, it's not true. We've looked this up. There is literally no metric by which Donald Trump is #1 on TikTok. I don't know why Stephen Chung told him this. Even as a political person, he's not #1 on TikTok. We couldn't find a single metric where Donald Trump was #1 on TikTok. I don't know who told him this. I don't know why he keeps saying it, but it's not true.
So how can they be so bad? 520, think of this, 425 billion views. Can you believe that, Peter? I mean, let's go, Peter. I gave up on you people. I gave up on traditional press. And it obviously worked because we did win in a landslide. I mean, somebody's got to be saying something good about me. But TikTok, good old TikTok, and I was able to get it sold to a group of very wealthy people, mostly Americans. I would told.
That's our president admitting that he interfered with the TikTok purchase. That's your president saying the government should interfere with private industry, which I'm all right with. You guys aren't supposed to be okay with that, though. You're supposed to think that it's free enterprise and the government should have no role.
President Xi, who's a man that I get along with very well, he was a hard no for the sale of TikTok. They all said he's a hard no. I said, well, let's call it, put you.
Isn't TikTok a Singaporean company? Wasn't it based in Singapore? Am I wrong about that? Am I crazy? Isn't TikTok based in Singapore? Yeah, right? Senator, I'm Singaporean, yeah. Is it not it?
The CEO was Singaporean, but I think the company was based in China.
No, I think it was the parent. Hold on, I might be wrong about this, but I think that ByteDance is based in China, or maybe the other way around.
But ByteDance is Chinese, but the CEO was Singaporean.
No, it was headquartered in Singapore. ByteDance is in Beijing. TikTok is from Singapore. Is what I'm seeing here. Is that correct? If you guys want to look at that. Was in Singapore, yeah. All right, cool.
Group together, they put it together, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. I called up President Xi. I said, President, look, these are American people. They're wonderful people. In fact, one of them happens to own CBS, actually. I mentioned his name. I said, these are wonderful people, and it'll be a good thing. Does it mean anything, President? It's nothing. It's nothing. They love your country. We'd love to see you approve the deal. And he goes, all right. That was it. It was done.
Yeah, I'm just checking this. So ByteDance, the company ByteDance was not sold. The deal was just for TikTok's U.S. operations. That's all that was sold. It looks like ByteDance still retains 20% of it, though. So yes, this is it wasn't sold. It wasn't a Chinese company that was bought. It was from Singapore, and it was only U.S. It was, according to Reuters, it was only the U.S. operations. So.
And we sold TikTok. And he's a friend
We
of
sold
mine.
TikTok.
And he's not contributing to problems like other people contribute to problems.
What are those two?
So we get along. But we made the deal. But number one on TikTok is Trump. And that's probably why we won. But for all of the trouble that you give me a lot of trouble, a lot of heartache. I hope all of you know that I believe in the free press more than anyone in this room does.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe not quite.
Okay. That's the best joke. That's honestly his best one. We found a new one. That's by far his best joke. I love the free press, he says. I was just kidding about everything I've ever said and done in my entire fucking life. I actually want you guys to be free.
But that's why
Oh,
I'm
they
proud
laughed.
to be the
Oh, no,
one.
I'm
But
sorry.
For all of the trouble that you give me a lot of trouble, a lot of heartache. I hope all of you know that I believe in the free press more than anyone in this room does. Maybe not quite. But that's why I'm proud to be the most open and transparent president in history. They called me that. You know who calls me that? Caroline. That's about it.
They call me that. You know who? The person I pay to be my spokesperson. That's who calls me that. I love that. You know, they call me that. I pay them to do it, but they call me that.
Would anybody else call me that? I think Peter would call me that. Am I the most transparent? Biden never used to answer your questions. He'd ask Biden 20 questions. He'd never get an answer. Who's the most transparent president, Peter? Who? I look at him. It's the first time he's tongue-tied. I cannot believe it. Oh, he's not going to be happy tomorrow. But you people have no idea how lucky you are when I'm...
Whoops. Crowd work backfires. Yeah, he's doing crowd work. Let me check, Dolphin. I'm sorry. Trump did land some on RFK Jr., but I believe it was bad taste to make fun of someone who was in active addiction as a recovering addict, 13 years clean. January 6th, I was offended. Weird that a person like me would say that. Did I miss the RFK one? Maybe it's coming up. I haven't even watched the whole thing yet. This is the first time I'm watching the whole thing, to be honest.
Gone. You're all going to be broke. Your business model is going to be finished. No, it's true. When I'm not around, you're going to be broke. There's not going to be anybody to report on. Nobody gives a damn.
No, there's going to be another president after you. that they'll report on.
About anybody else. The New York Times the other day had 5 stories about me. You know, before I got into politics, in my whole life, I had 7 front page stories. This is years of success. I think 6 were good, 1 was bad. I had 5 stories, 7, 5 good. Yeah, I had a total of 7 stories on the front page of the New York Times. That's not bad. Now I average about 3 or 4 a day, all different.
You're the president, bud, and you're bad at it. Yeah. They're going to write stories about you.
Different topics, all bad, everything bad. But here we are. I mean, here we are. In fact, when I'm finished, I'm going right back to the Oval Office. So I have to be doing okay. But we are all doing good together. That's why tonight, to show just how much I care about the press, and I want to save your ratings, I'm pleased to announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a 4th term.
Why does he switch into that voice?
As President of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official. In fact, I think I have,
Merch? You got merch?
I won 3 times.
You fucking cool. I was joking. Oh, I was joking. I didn't think he was bringing merch. No fucking way. He brought merch. He brought merch.
Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times. Did very well the 2nd time, by the way.
Excuse me, what? You won 3 times? I can't wait for this week's SNL episode. Yeah, it's going to be good.
It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it. You know, it's
Do you want me to tell you what's going to happen from my point of view? Probably not. We're watching the Correspondents' Dinner. Let's talk about this.
Interesting. When you come back and you do a good job like we did, and you don't care about it so much, but we do have to tighten up these elections because they really are in seriously bad shape. But on a serious note, I want to say once again, I just want to thank you all. It's been an interesting evening. I didn't really know what to expect, and it's far worse than I actually thought.
But yeah, you bombed, bitch.
If you want to know that. But I didn't know exactly what to expect. And I've made a lot of friends tonight. I've made a lot of good friends tonight, probably made some enemies also. But it's been an experience that is something that we've all shared together, because we're all in this room tonight because most of us went through a period of trauma from just a short while ago. And, you know, some people said they wanted to come, but they were afraid to come, and you people weren't afraid to come. There were a lot of people that said, Jackie, they don't really, you know, they didn't have the courage to come. And we don't want that to happen. And I'm sure it's not going to happen. We're going to do things. Again, I want to thank our law enforcement, keeps us safe. All law enforcement. We have the greatest people on earth. You know, we had 2 years ago, we had the worst record of recruitment in, as an example, the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, the Coast Guard.
That's not law enforcement.
Space Force, I love Space Force. Look at all that shooting we're able to do from space. That was my baby. But all of the branches of, you couldn't get people to join. This was 2 years ago. And last week, you probably saw, some of you wrote the story, we have the single best recruiting of people into our armed forces than we have ever had in the history of our country.
That's great. More white nationalists. Good.
They are brimming over with great people. And that's a big statement. And that also goes for
I don't even know if that's true. Can somebody fact check that? I have no idea if that's true.
Police departments where they were having a tremendous problem recruiting. You can't get into a police department now. If you're looking for a job, it's very tough. And that also includes our great fire departments, because people forget about them. They're unbelievable, the job they do. So I just want to thank you. Look, we're on the cusp of something big, and I call it, and this, I'm being very serious when I say this, that this is the golden age of America. We have $19.2 trillion being spent in our country.
No, we don't.
A record was China. I think it was 10 years ago, 3 trillion. Trillion is a lot.
True.
4 years, they went less than 1 trillion under Biden. And we have 19.2 trillion. And
no, we don't.
This is a period of actually 13 months, not even current, because we're here a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, and also because you're making up that number.
But that was as of reporting dates.
Wrap it up, Caligula.
$19.2 trillion is being
Wrap it up, Tangerine Caligula. That's a good joke.
spent. Factories are coming. Toyota just announced they're going to be building the biggest car plant in the world. They're leaving Mexico. They're coming here. Tariffs did that. Tariffs did that. And maybe November 5th did that too, the election.
Do we put tariffs on Mexico? Like manufacturing? Auto manufacturing? Did we do that?
But our country is doing things that nobody's ever seen before. And it is true. We were, and you've heard me say this, we were a dead country 2 years ago. Other leaders would see me and they'd say it's a miracle. President Xi told me that a few weeks ago in China. And he's coming here on September, I think, 24th. Coming in September, the end of September.
So yeah, exactly. Why are we broke? What'd you do with the trillions? It turns out those trillions didn't exist.
Exciting. But he said this.
All right, I'm done with that. I want to show you a couple of other people's moments at the correspondents' dinner, and then we'll get out of here. This was my favorite moment by far. Also not super funny, but not like ha-ha funny, but keep in mind that Donald Trump had to sit through this. This was Wolf Blitzer, and he said all of this in front of Donald Trump.
This year's print winner is Amr Madhani and Zeke Miller of the Associated Press. When sources leaked that Trump administration officials were attempting to purge the National Security Council of staff deemed not sufficiently aligned with the president's agenda, Madhani and Miller quickly moved to verify the claim. They uncovered an unprecedented vetting process. NSC staffers were asked about their past political contributions, voting records, and social media posts as a gauge of loyalty to the president. Ultimately, more than 150 NSC aides were removed, resulting in the loss of considerable foreign policy expertise. The story that Madhani and Miller produced is as consequential as it is revelatory. Please welcome Zeke Miller accepting the award on behalf of the team.
I liked that quite a bit. Let's see. Is it this one? Now here's, let's see, where was that one with Caitlin Collins? Here's the RFK joke. Sorry, I know some people were offended by it.
Delicious beef tenderloins, very special beef. And I want you all to know that Bobby Kennedy, who's right here, personally ran over the cow in his car.
That's a pretty good joke. Whoever wrote that, kudos. That's a good joke.
He cut it up and he brought it here for you to eat tonight, so it's very fresh. And Bobby also suggested an appetizer featuring his favorite cut of male raccoon roadkill. But we drew the line at that, Cheryl. We said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not doing that. We love Bobby. I'll tell you, he's a piece of work. You think it is fun, but he is a very different kind of a person, I will tell you. But he has what it takes, and he's smart, and he loves the country, and he wants people to be made to feel good. You agree with that, Bobby? He wants people to feel good. And he's doing a fantastic job.
Hines
Thank
broke
you,
my
Bobby.
heart too.
Thank you.
I'm with you guys. What did you guys say? What were the other ones? Somebody said, let's see. Well, was it Wolf Blitzer that did the other one too, where Trump had to sit through it? Yeah, this one. This is devastating. This was the one I was looking for.
This year's award goes to the Wall Street Journal. The Journal's courageous reporting on President Trump's past relationship with financier Jeffrey Epstein triggered the release of the so-called Epstein files, thousands of documents that might otherwise have remained hidden from the public. And despite the president's threat of a lawsuit, the Journal published a story about a provocative letter to Epstein bearing President Trump's signature. Trump quickly filed a $20 billion lawsuit against the Journal, revealing reporter Khadija Safdar's home address. Her family had to be relocated. The Journal was kicked off of Air Force One, but the reporters continue to file revelatory stories. Please welcome the winners of the Katharine Graham Award from the Wall Street Journal. Khadija Safdar, Sadie Gurman, Annie Linsky, Josh Dawsey again, Alex Leary, Rebecca Ballhaus, and Ryan Barber.
Well done.
Their colleague Joe Palazzolo could not attend tonight.
All right. Were there any other ones we need to see before we go? That was beautiful. Remember, guys, this is supposed to, like, I know we're used to covering politics in a serious way. This is the Correspondents' Dinner. They're supposed to laugh. Yeah, it's true. Like, that's why it's funny. It's funny because everybody here knows what they're doing, and Trump has to just sit there and take it, so he's going to laugh too. I mean, the thing is, like, we know Trump. Like, Trump uses that as a weapon. He's not serious about any of these lawsuits. None of those were serious. He just does it to try and silence people and to swing the narrative. I thought it was good. Did we go over the new McConnell proof of life video? No. Is there one or photo? I don't know about that. Were there other ones? They shook his hand, which blows me away. Look. You do. Like, you shake the hands. If you're going to participate in the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you treat it like the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and you don't break all the tradition just because Trump is there. I get it. Like, if you're going to be on stage, you don't want to shake his hand, I think you don't go. And I think that's largely been, like, Trump hasn't gone to the Correspondents' Dinner for both presidencies. He skips it because he's thin-skinned. Were there any other ones? There's a new photo? All right, I'll look for McConnell.
This year's award goes to the Journal was kicked off of Air.
Sorry. Whoops. Is this the new one? The same picture as before? I wouldn't shake his hand without a glove. Now, that's just sensible. All right. Well, he certainly looks as alive as ever. That's the new one. I feel like there was one other Correspondents' Dinner clip. Isn't there one more? No newspaper this time, yeah. I'm scrolling through. I didn't get this. That's the Weijia Yang. Were there any other ones that I missed here? At Oz Perlman? Oh, well, let's see this reaction. Is this when Blitzer was talking? Let's see Trump's reaction here.
The Journal's courageous reporting on President Trump's past relations.
At this point, we need to fight fire with fire. Stop normalizing this shit. Stop normalizing the fucking Correspondents' Dinner. Come on, man. What are you talking about? Not like, yeah. Okay, you're joking. Okay, gotcha. Oh, maybe you're not? What do you want to do? You want to ruin? We're not going to ruin everything for Donald Trump. Like, there's a certain amount. Like, Donald Trump's going to ruin a lot of shit. Let's not ruin traditions for Donald Trump. Like, this is about the journalists. It's supposed to be funny. Yeah, Donald Trump's a piece of shit. We just watched him bomb for 30 minutes. No amount of pettiness could ever undo the fact that Donald Trump bombed for 30 straight fucking minutes. That's devastating. Everybody saw what happened. If you want to shake his hand, shake his hand. I'm not going to hold a grudge against anybody who shook his hand. I think that kind of pettiness is silly, and it's a waste of energy.
With financier Jeffrey Epstein triggered the release of the so-called Epstein files, thousands of documents that might otherwise have remained hidden from the public. And despite the president's threat of a lawsuit, the Journal published a story about a provocative letter to Epstein bearing...
I'm not upset that you guys want to be petty. I'm upset that people are telling me I need to be petty. You can be petty if you want, but, like, if you're coming at me telling me I need to be more petty, No, I'm not going to be. You can be as petty as you know that. You know the audience doesn't have to agree with me. Well, I don't think we need to be more petty. That's just my opinion.
Trump's signature.
Federal
Trump
raids,
quickly filed a
subpoenas,
What is that?
billion lawsuit against the Journal, revealing reporter Khadija Safdar's home address.
Here to accept the award.
Her
from Care
family
11,
had to be relocated.
All right, I don't know why there's the double audio there. Poor guy. Poor fella. Laughing that. Yeah, that is crazy that he's laughing at the fan. I mean, he doesn't know. He wasn't listening. That's great. There was an angle at the closer. Yeah, I didn't get it. Sorry about that. All right. Let me go through comments one more time, and then we'll get out of here. Once again, guys, thank you for your patience with me. Sorry about last Friday. Hopefully this week we get all 5 days in. There's just some stuff going on in my personal life that's kind of difficult to deal with, and sometimes it's time sensitive, and I have to do it, and then I have to cancel the show. But trust me, I hate it, and I apologize. But thank you guys for sticking with me. Jen, did I miss? Oh, I wanted to go over the idiom. This was it. So there was the monkey. What was it? Kill the chicken to scare the monkey is a Chinese idiom. While money isn't part of the never mind. Once a street busker relied on a trained dancing monkey to perform tricks and bring in money from crowds. One day, the monkey became stubborn and refused to dance. No matter what the master did, the monkey wouldn't obey. Frustrated, the busker grabbed a live chicken, banged a loud drum, and slaughtered the chicken right in front of the monkey. Terrified by the sight, the monkey immediately fell into line and went back to performing to earn money for his master. All right. Well, that's strange that they would use that, but not entirely surprising. So there you go. That's the idiom of the you got to kill a chicken to what is it, to make the monkey dance or to scare the monkey? That's what it was. There we go. Yeah, a real Chinese idiom. So I guess Harvard educated John Kennedy was using a real idiom. That was shocking to me. Jen, did I miss anything else? Scott, Trump's not here.
I think that's it on my end.
Okay. Yeah, exactly, Traps. All right, everybody. We will see you tomorrow morning and every weekday morning, bright and early, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here wherever you're watching today. Until we see you tomorrow, go outside and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass. If you can't touch grass or smoke grass, best of luck to you. Reach down, find your bootstraps, pull yourself up, buy said bootstraps. But before you take those boots and put them on the ground, look in the mirror and say something nice about yourself. On your way out the door, make sure that you're hydrated and you're taking some water with you because it is hot out there. And when you get those boots on the ground and you go out, be nice to those that you come in contact with. Be nice to yourself. But most importantly, love yourself. And until I see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, very importantly, take care of yourself, stay cute and cool, and have a great, great summer. Sorry I missed it. Lee, thank you. Big W, Lee, for the $50 over on Venmo. It came in right when we stopped. I'm so sorry, Lee. Here's the theme song again.